Today we are joining. I'm done.
Okay.
I think I'm done. Okay. Last try.
They are not there. UNAM don't have them. NAS don't have them. We want them to be able to say, bring in a course that will just teach people, the whole creative sector.
Hi guys, welcome to the Village Podcast. I am your very own host, Jolene, and today we have something different, something that we have not done in a minute. Today we have a very special guest. He is the CEO of Nascam. Today he's here to serve you all what you need, all the questions that you've been having, all the misconception. He's come here to clear it all and tell you guys why they're here. Today we have Albert Nicanor. Welcome, Albert.
Thank you
Welcome.
for welcoming me. And I also want to say it's a pleasure for me to be here to your audience.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Awesome stuff.
Feel free, feel welcomed. This is a safe space. It is a comfortable space. You should enjoy yourself while you're doing this. And yeah, it's something easy, something different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we have my very own co-host, like you guys know. Come on.
Hey, Hilifa, Kanaka, Jew, one time in the building. And you know how it goes at the Village Podcast, where tradition meets the digital world. So
Yes.
Let's do it.
Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you have come to be the CEO of Nascam?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's quite an interesting background I have, where I came from in terms of my academic qualifications. I studied international management with the Harold Pukevets Graduate School of Business.
Okay.
I graduated, but at the time was I was working for a construction company called New Era Investments. We did a lot of construction buildings, So I applied for Nascam, position CEO, and I got a position. And immediately thereafter, people used to ask, I never knew you were a musician. People always used to say, no, it's not about the music.
It's not about the music.
It's about the functions I'm doing.
Exactly.
Which is management. Management functions are the same. It doesn't matter which industry you are. I'm now in the music space, so I use those same skills, functions in the construction, while I was in government, everywhere. It's the same functions. I'm
100%.
applying, management is the same. It doesn't matter where you are. And that is why it's so easy for me to do this, what I'm doing, because I'm versatile in my skills. I bring a whole lot of skills, to Nascam, because firstly, I don't just do management. I can do accounting, I can do management, I can do IT, I can do all these type of skills because I'm very versatile.
You seem like you love what you do.
I do. There is no boring day for me at Nascam.
Okay.
For
Is
the
it?
past 2 years. Yes, I'm currently for 2 years there.
Okay.
There is no day that has been a boring day because every day is such a hyperactive day. It's something new for me and it's very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is why when I do this, I'm doing it very efficient and effectively. I love what I do because it comes natural. It's not by force, The industry, it is something new.
Yeah.
But I'm able to grasp because I always tell myself that it's just a system that I need to learn.
Yeah.
I just need to learn the system.
Different industries,
Yes.
but same rules that you can
Same
still
rules.
apply.
But here is just a system as well. Different players, but I just need to learn the system. And I did that within 3 months.
Oh.
I assessed the system and I was capable. It is very surprising to people. I surprise my colleagues.
Yeah.
They look at me and they say, this guy just started and he already talk about these things as if he has been here for the past 10 years.
Sorry, 1 second. For those who don't know what exactly Nascam is, can you please break it down for them and what its core mission is?
Nascam. All right. Nascam, let me just put it in a very simple way. It protects rights holders for music, composers, authors, and publishers. What we do basically, imagine yourself you bake bread, right? And you need to bake slices of bread, for instance. And now, as you are going to either stand at the store selling its slice of bread, or you're going to allow somebody else to do the selling for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we basically do, Nascam, is we take the bread, the slice which a baker has made, which is the musicians. They make the bread.
Yes.
And we take the bread and then we sell the bread to those who wants to eat or to use it. That's what we do. Basically, we are an intermediary company. It is established to make sure that whoever wants to use music comes to us. Now, we do a dual function. It's to help the creators who are making the music. They bring it to us and we say, we'll make sure that your music is protected, number one. Number two, we will collect royalties for them. And number three, we will also distribute these royalties to them. Okay, so we are that intermediary between the creators and also the users. At the end of the day, we are a one-stop shop for creators. We are a one-stop shop for those also who wants to use. Assume you are a broadcaster like NBC. Now, NBC needs to use music, right, to play on their radio channels. Suppose there are 9,000 musicians whose music is in our custody right now, and they need to go to those 9,000 rights holders and say, can I use your music? Can I use your music? Can I use your music every time? And that's a very logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
So basically what we provide that service for the users to come to us. They sign once off an agreement and say, we give you a right to use our members' music at a fee. And that fee is what we call royalties. And that fee we distribute to the members.
Yeah.
We have assigned us the right to distribute or to license users. So in a nutshell, it's a society. It's a Section 21 company in terms of the Companies Act. It's managed by the AGM, which is the highest decision-making body, which is the members themselves, and then we have the board, and then the management headed by me, and then the departments under me as well. So basically, we do protection, which is just to say you register your works with Nascam. That's your protection. And then we do the collection. That's when we go to the broadcasters and say, before you play music, get a license from us.
Yeah.
That's the licensing. And then the third is just to collect the royalties and to distribute those royalties to the rights holders, which is our members.
All right. It's good that you actually mentioned the distribution part, because now if we had to look at this era with a lot of streaming platforms that are out there, are you guys also in a way able to collect royalties through streaming platforms like Apple Music, Spotify and whatnot?
It's a very good question. Let me just take you back where we initially originate. Nascam originates in terms of the Copyright Act.
Yeah.
Okay, this Copyright Act has been established since 1994. In terms of Section 56, is our company has been established in terms of Section 56.
Yeah.
So it means we are the only society in Namibia that is allowed to collect royalties, distribute royalties, because we are created in terms of that section.
Yeah.
So for us to do that, we can only do in the ambit of the law, which is the copyright. Now, this copyright law is since 1994 in existence. Remember, internet started only in the early 90s, to be available. And 94, nobody ever thought probably we will be playing music online. At the time, it was only CDs and cassettes and LPs or vinyls or whatever you call them. So it is clear this law is outdated, number one, because even what it talks about is a protection, no piracy. Piracy was just about the hard CDs, the hard cassettes.
Exactly.
But now we are talking about piracy on digital platforms. So the current setup, unfortunately, is not made for online.
How old is Nascam?
Nascam has been in existence since 1994.
Okay.
So it's actually 31 years old.
Yes. So it has been doing things, but the setup for the law, it's not catering for digital platforms, the Spotifys, the YouTubes and all that. Meaning those rights are not created for the creators. Meaning anybody who wants, even for us, if we want to collect royalties, we cannot do royalty collection for digital platforms because the law is not enabling us to do that. So the law must first be there to be able to enable us to collect royalties. That's why most of our members are complaining Nascam is not doing anything. That is misdirected to us, but it's not really our problem.
Okay.
It's the problem of the law, which does not give us the power. Once the law is changed, it allows us to then go to digital platforms like YouTube, streaming platforms and service providers to say, now we have the authority to do that in terms of the act.
So you guys do not have that authority?
We don't have that authority.
Right now, let's say living in the digital era, no one sells CDs anymore as much. So now we need to find out what are Nascam's plans in the near future to bridge the gap, because right now you find a lot of artists who, let's say, have millions of views on YouTube, and some of artists even have millions of views on Spotify as well, or millions of listens. So are Nascam busy planning something that to facilitate bridging that gap?
Definitely. I think since I came on board, my first plan was just to understand what is the legal framework we are operating in. And the legal framework is the one that is hampering Nascam. As I think it is very important to bring this to the attention of our legislative politicians to make them understand. You cannot move to a new transformation of digital era unless you change the law. But this law has been in existence before I came to Nascam. Not as a draft bill, which is a copyright bill since 2021. So meaning the bill is there, but politicians are still, pushing it. But
Are they pushing it?
They are pushing it, but it's not yet there where we want them to be. Meaning only now with a new president that it is now getting a new fresh attention again. And Nascam is also pushing to the minister to say, look, this is priority in terms of the president's agenda. It's a priority. So can you make sure that this bill is at least enacted in this year? And that is what we are pushing. So what Nascam is doing, we are not waiting for the bill. We are doing other things with our stakeholders. For instance, with BIPA, we are trying to put mechanisms, the regulations for that bill already to discuss and how we're going to implement whatever is coming out from the legislation into the practice. So our plan from our side as Nascam, we are busy now. We know already we are moving in the era of digital, meaning we cannot collect CDs anymore. We cannot collect USBs. What we need to do now is to have a registry, a digital rights registry, meaning every song that has been registered must be on a digital registry. It means there must be a physical copy of a song on this registry, meaning whatever that is going to be played locally through monitoring system to monitor. This system will then be the source of all the music being consumed in Namibia. So meaning, the song is in the database. So NBC can play the song. It's validated whether it's in the system or not. And that is how we are trying to track songs and making sure that all the songs in the future will be on this database. So it means it's a whole lot of work that needs to go back and put these songs. I don't know, my challenge now, we have a lot of CDs. How are we going to do this? We need, it's another project and spending to be able to put this, to digitize these songs on this platform.
And thinking about that, I want to ask, is Nascam, let's say, equipped with a team of, let's say, people who have done software engineering and whatnot to be able to facilitate these things and code systems that are going to make it possible for us to have a digital library?
No, we are not. We are not capacitated at the moment, to be honest, because all we are doing is people have been doing these things manually. They only know manual work. And I'm introducing these new systems, and it's like, this is Greek, you understand? Where are we going? What happens? No, you need to move with the times.
Exactly.
Because we cannot allow our members to continue bringing CDs. I think your question was, what are we really doing to help creators move with the times and be able to monetize their work on digital platforms? That is number one, what we try to do, is to have those platforms and to have the registration being done online. It has never been done, but we are trying to do this, to have a portal where if you want to register as a member, you go to the portal and you can also upload your works on that portal. So it's digitally. it's the same way also. It's for those who wants to use the music. How can they do it? They can also just go to this portal and say, I want to register as a user, as a DJ. I need to get my license, and then it's done online as well. So those are the things we want to move to, because it's it's costly, obviously, to have the technology. Even the monitoring system, which we are envisioning now, is very costly, because we cannot be collecting what we used to call PRSs, is manual work.
Yeah.
We used to go to broadcasters. Broadcasters will give us the usage data in manual format, like it's an Excel spreadsheet or whatever format. And then that is the Excel spreadsheet we'll use to compare or to match the data on the system, what is used against what is in the database, so that we are able to pay royalties. But now we are envisioning a system where we want to do electronic monitoring. Basically, this system is just like, I don't know if you were Sasham, you guys, you know Sasham. So those are the type of things, like a Google matching thing. You say, Google, can you search for me this song? It will tell.
Then it pops up. Yeah.
That is the type of technology we are looking at now. We want so that it's able to track songs digitally. But remember, these systems can only digital track songs if we have a database.
There are actually a few songs Shazam can pick up when you check it. I've seen there are quite a few songs, and also on Google itself. You see, there's a new WhatsApp feature where you want to add a song. There are exit songs at the end there, and it's playing there.
The only thing, just to also, it ties into the question of how far are we with this system. We first, as I said, we need the registry. Any system that we need to monitor will rely on this database where we have registered digital rights holders work on this system. Because if, for instance, Google picks up a song, it picks up and it validates it against something. It must be able to validate it against something. Which is somewhere. It cannot just say, this is Gaza song. Where does it pick it up? Unless Gaza song has the metadata, that has been, identified by international standards like ISWC code, which is an international standard musical work code, which is given by bodies that can give these codes. Because our work mostly are not having those international work standards codes. It doesn't have the metadata. It's just playing. But it doesn't show who's the producer, the publisher. It doesn't show all those metadata that is required. That is number one. We need to have those tools from the producers who make the music, because we don't want just producers to self-produce, put it in a computer, and then you create a song and you say that's your CD. No.
Oh, but can you tell me what steps should a producer or artist per se do or take when they release a song?
They will create files. These files must have all the metadata available. For instance, who is the author, who is the composer, who is the producer, and everything, and when was this song created, in terms of the International Standard Work Code. That is what we want. But what we don't have is the body for those producers, the record labels. We need that body, that issue. Once we have that body, we are actually also assisting the producers to set up that body, which is a Namibian Recording Society or bodies, to help them, so that they can standardize their work.
Because I was going to ask, where do they go after they release a song? Or
no, they need to also, record labels need to also have standards according to what they work. So once they have done that, this work, whatever they create must be according to those standards. Every song must have an ISWC code, and then it must be able to be identified. So it is not just people creating songs. So once this system now picks up these songs somewhere there, it will identify the song because it has specific identifiers, and it will be validated against the data.
Okay, because you said that you guys are yet to start working on something. So are you looking at picking up data from, like, let's say, around the world currently, there's a system called the SoundScan, the BDS SoundScan. SoundScan, so what it does, it picks up music that's being played even publicly, like 4 seconds of that song playing, it can pick up. And then it kind of like shows how many times the song has been played at a specific area. Then it can set up information and data according to that. So are you looking to build your infrastructure from scratch, or are you going to kind of like benchmark it off of something that already exists?
All right. we are busy talking to BMAT, also one of those suppliers. We have spoken to a number of those. But at the moment, we want to start with specific broadcasters. So, but this project will require that we have a database. Wherever we went to these systems, monitoring systems, they require a database. And I explained to them, look, we are still in the old era. We just have CDs. How are we going to migrate this work which we have to the database? So that, because their database relies on picking up something that is already on a system somewhere, and then it like extract it and it puts it on their own database, so that whenever there is a new song, it is able to pick up. So our challenge there is we need actually to go and see how we can resolve this issue, either through with the broadcasters who have databases, and then we can start there. Yes.
Are you familiar with platforms such as DistroKid and TuneCore? So with platforms like those, usually like when you release your music through TuneCore or DistroKid, is that you can then set up, like, okay, you want Spotify to be able to monetize from YouTube, Deezer, you package them that way. So let's say, for example, if Nascam was to create something, would you guys also want to lean onto that way?
Yes.
People come and then they're like, okay, there's your physicals in terms of like you can collect from NBC, you can collect from One Africa radio stations and then streaming platforms.
Definitely. As I said, this is a project that we are envisaging to start, because those streaming platforms you just mentioned is just because of a lack of a registry in Namibia for us to be able to, as a to deposit all our rights holders' work in one place, so that whatever streaming platforms wants to use that, they can tap into that, you know, because it's national. It's not just going to be for Nascam. It's going to be managed by BIPA. BIPA has a database, and they will be able to say, okay, this is national works. Any streaming platforms, they can tap in that database, and that is how they can validate the work that this is Namibian works. So whether we start from scratch or whether we go through those that is already set up, or the infrastructure, it's an option that we can explore. Yes.
Okay, 100%. Okay, as times are changing now, we've touched on digital. Now let's touch more on how artificial intelligence will be able to be accommodated by Nascam. So like you find a lot of artists now who can create music from AI platforms like Sora and whatnot. So how will Nascam be able to pick up? Because now we are speaking about intellectual property, which should come from a human being. So if we are thinking intellectual property, are the systems that will be able to actually pick up like digital nuances, like songs are not really composed by real human beings? Are there any ways we could determine that?
Yeah. AI is both a curse and a good thing. A curse in the sense that it's competing directly with those composers, authors of music who use their thinking. Now, AI is not human. And the copyright, the laws that are being created right now is to identify artificial intelligence from what is copyright. Copyright will only be if it's being done by human mind, not an artificial intelligence. Meaning artificial intelligence uses a combination.
So they can easily determine.
But no, we are not there to, we don't have the technology. We don't even have the law. What it means that in general already the law in the EU is coming, is there. They are setting up the standards there and saying, what are we going to consider as copyright? Meaning, number one, they've already say AI will not be considered as copyright. Meaning if that guy who created an album using AI will not be protected as a copyright, because the laws will not protect him because it says artificial. But their argument is saying, but we created this, we are also creators in the AI as a creation. Yes, but the protection will not be the same.
No, actually, no, they shouldn't even say that.
It cannot be the same. Yes.
It can be.
No, they are using that argument, but saying they are bringing in the human mind. The human mind is the only thing that can be copyrighted.
Yes, it's not a fair argument.
Yes, it's not going to be how much of AI can we consider as copyright.
No.
That topic is not even there. So it means the laws which are coming, and I believe Namibia will be very strong, and they will say no, only human who have created work can be copyright, can be protected.
Yeah.
So AIs can be used and they can do whatever they want. But the problem now is people will use that more at the expense of human creators,
the real creators.
Yes, but that in itself is where the law needs to come and to protect the creators. Right now, we don't have a law. Parliament is not even talking about AI.
Yeah.
Yes, so it means it needs to filter in from other jurisdictions, whether it is EU and then comes to South Africa. And South Africa, they've tested it, and then it comes to Namibia.
Okay.
Yes. But as of now, we do not recognize AI as a copyright, meaning you cannot bring your album and ask who is the author. You cannot say AI. No, it cannot be.
No, you cannot.
can't.
Please.
It can't be.
But what would you say are the biggest challenges artists face when it comes to protecting their songs, music?
I think it's stealing.
Yes.
Yes, we call it piracy in the legal term, but it's stealing. Now, you remember, Jolene, stealing was in the past, piracy was in the past. I take a CD and I duplicate it and I sell more of it. That is stealing. But now it's no more CDs. Now it's websites distributing these works on digital platforms or on YouTube or channels. So we are not there yet with the technology, meaning people are copying or stealing using digital platforms. So we need the technology. We need NAST, IT people like you to come and help us with web crawlers who can identify these illegal websites and shut it down. That's what we need. So the law needs to change to allow this and to make exceptions. What are the exceptions going to be for AI to be allowed in the country?
Yeah.
Not everything will be allowed, obviously, but the exceptions are going to be made. Okay, we can allow this type of exceptions, because they believe AI uses human works to create or to make their own work.
Yeah.
It doesn't really generate anything from scratch, just like that. So the industry as it is, we have this problem of piracy. In the past, it was hard copies, but now we are looking at digital platforms. We need to allow the law to say what is going to be done in that case. And also what is going to be allowed for AI to do or not to do. You know? So you as a creator, for instance, all of the creators in Namibia will probably have to sign to say, I'm allowing AI to use my works or not. Some way they will be allowed to say that for anybody who uses AI platforms or whatever to say, or can I tap into Namibian music to generate, something like that. Because at the moment it's free for all because of a lack of law.
Lack of law.
Yeah.
And what I think that will do is actually it will open up now a new Pandora's box, because now we are looking at how people cannot own their intellectual property either way. Because let's say I create a song on Sora and I put it out there to be distributed. You expect me to still get the same amount of royalties as someone who's used their own intellectual property to create something if I don't declare that it's AI?
Well, like as I said, the international standards will be that copyright can only be applied to human work, not to AI. Yeah. If your work is AI, it cannot be copyright. It can be something else. I don't know what the term they will call it, but it is not going to be called copyright. Yes.
All right. Makes sense.
I think it's just fair, since we have the CEO of Nascam, that we have an artist joining us. Today we have on board an artist that has been in the industry for very long. We have Epanda Rizzy. Rizzy, please feel welcome. I am your very own host, Jolene. That is my co-host. And over there we have the man himself, the CEO that is here today to give us what we need. He is Albert Nicanor.
Good to be here with you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome. I think it's been a while also us talking about bringing Rizzy here.
Yeah.
Because Medj was like, no, we're supposed to bring
It's been long overdue.
Yeah.
It's been long overdue. Finally.
Finally here.
Finally here.
Yeah. I've been wanting to come to the podcast. I've been looking forward to it. And yeah, it is great to finally be here.
You actually watch?
I watch.
A lot of people are always like, nah. I'll watch though. I'll watch, but they never do. See?
No, I watch the podcast. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite podcasts, basically.
Is it?
Right.
If not my favorite Namibian podcast.
Thank you.
Well, here you are with us.
Yeah.
Today you're with us. You're not watching. You're with.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah, boy.
So before we actually carry on with the conversation, tell us a little bit more about yourself or the viewers, like about Epanda Rizzy, what you've been up to, because for some of us who've known about you for a very long time, we've been keeping up to date. But tell the viewers out there what's going on with Epanda Rizzy, where have you been, what are you working on?
Okay, I've been in the mix, I've been here and there. Most people probably know that like I haven't really been that active on the music scene. But somehow, some way, I have actually been active. Maybe just not as prominent. I've worked on a couple of tracks. I was recording with the late Arafat. I was working on my third album. I released a couple of singles. I released a single called Ehafo. I released a single called Down and Under 2.0, which is based on an original Down and Under. It
was Rizzy Riz, by the way.
Yeah. So rebranded from Rizzy Riz to Epanda Rizzy. The sound also changed up a little bit from just being hip hop to more Afrobeat and a little bit of amapiano here and there. We were working on like, our own style or flair of the sound of amapiano. But yeah, over the years I've been, at different avenues. I'm an actor as well, a theater actor. I'm a film actor. I also do production, so I'm also behind the scenes. I'm a graduate at the College of the Arts for television production. Hiliva and I were together at the College of the Arts. So currently I'm working at NBC. I'm a production officer at NBC, and I'm a creative, and I love.
How's that going? How's everything going? Is it not too much?
No. It's like when you learn how to wear a lot of hats, you get so used to it,
Okay.
At first, sometimes when you come across new avenues, it's a bit hectic at the beginning, but once you get a hang of it, it's smooth sailing.
Okay.
You know what they say, like when you do what you really love, you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right, awesome stuff.
So
we're just kind of like having a conversation about Nascam and distribution and royalty collection. So I wanted to know, like, what's your take on Nascam as an establishment and where you stand currently, being an artist for so many years? Where do you stand in terms of like Nascam and its mandate?
Nascam is a body or an authority that has been there for the longest time. They've been taking care of our copyrights and basically collecting our royalties. I've gotten my checks from Nascam. I can't say I haven't, so I have gotten a couple of payments and whatnot from Nascam. Which is obviously most just based on when you're getting airplay. So obviously, if you're not getting airplay, you're not getting any royalties, And I believe Nascam has been doing a great job. There's been hiccups here and there over the years, with the different boards that were there, and but all in all, Nascam just has to do what Nascam has to do, And I personally don't have a problem with Nascam being around. Most people would usually say that like, nah, we should just burn it down and come up with something else. You get what I mean? But at the end of the day, that's our father. Is Nascam is the one that takes care of us, and they've been. I was at a meeting recently.
You should be feeling good, Albert.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's quite amazing, since he's come on board, there's been quite a lot of promising things that, have been coming from Nascam. So big ups.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Another question again, this time we bring it back to Albert. So the current state of the music industry, the Namibian music industry, do you think the industry is really taken serious, whether it's on local level or international? Do you think we hold up to the standard of other industries?
Yeah, look, my take on that is there is a hierarchy, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? There is a level of needs where creators wants to be, from the basic up to the last, which is the self-actualization. What depending on which level the creator sector is currently, which I think is they want recognition and respect, which is also one of the needs in terms of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah,
I think we need to establish a sector for that to get recognition. Right now, creators don't have that recognition.
100%.
It's just like they have been considered as people who are just creating music for us for fun. No recognition whatsoever. So it is now up to government, and I think the current president, Her Excellency, will take this and formalize this process to say this is a creative sector for Namibia, and this is how it's going to be recognized in Namibia as of now. So only that, in my view, will then give creators the respect they want and to see, and they will be able to demand the rates of, for instance, of whatever they produce and to get the royalties for whatever they produce as well. At the moment, really, it is a struggle because that recognition is not there. And whatever is being done is just being done just to, to treat the symptoms. My view is not, let's not treat the symptoms. Let's build a foundation, which is creating the sector and building it from there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think artists know what to do after releasing a song.
Yes, that is what I say.
No idea. They just open a YouTube channel,
Yes.
post the song there, and people listen. And
You see,
I don't think
Yolene,
they know
what
it
is
all.
happening, even the responsible ministries, it is just like they're doing piecemeal things. It's not really looking at the whole cohesive ecosystem of creators.
Yes.
You need to look at it as a whole system where you say, all right, we have distributors of music, which are the digital platforms, the broadcasters. We have those who are creating the graphics design, those who are creatives, the producers. Then we have everybody, the marketing and everything. Those are the things we say. The whole creative sector, the value chain must be built up from ground up. You understand? Yes. So that everybody who comes in the industry understands where they fit and what they need. If you leave gaps there and you say you're going to be a self-producer, make sure that if you self-produce, you must be able to compete just like as Davido, who is a producer, who is a marketing people. All those are the people.
They're basically businesses. Artists are business.
Yes, it's a business, and that's one of the things that lacks in Namibia. Our creators, unfortunately, do not think about it as a business. It's just a hobby, and we must have that mind shift change to make them understand that it's not a hobby; it's a business.
Okay.
And when they start to create music, they must create it from that perspective.
So with that being said, do you feel like it's the responsibility of Nascam to sort of like give out financial literacy to artists so they understand the business side of how everything works, so they can position themselves in a way where, they have road managers, they have marketing teams and all that stuff?
Our work is to educate and to make sure that they understand the whole industry. And part of our advocacy is to make them aware that this is not a hobby, it's a business.
Yes.
Look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
But our mandate is not entirely on that. This is additional member services we are providing above and over and above our scope of mandate. So what the ministry is supposed to do, for instance, is to create the hubs and say, if you want to be in this sector, this is what you need to learn. They fund you if you want to be one of those people in the creative sector, in the ecosystem. They fund you. You say you want to be a graphics designer into this sector. You go to this training and you go masterclass, whatever. If you want to be a musician, author, composer, these are the things you need to go and do to help you grow your business. Understand?
So basically, programs drive that.
That is driven, purposely driven. Just like as we have the SME sector, which is driven, is targeted. You say you want to be SME, they give you training, bookkeeping, and all those type of things. It's the same. In the creative sector. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
All right, bringing it back to distribution and how artists are able to actually sell their work. Is there something that you're looking at in the future where you'll be able to kind of like create digital channels, because we've moved completely away from CDs right now? So is there something in plans when it comes to Nascam where you'll be able to distribute digitally the same way DistroKid distributes TuneCore and them. Yeah.
The thing is, I'm going back where our legal framework is. Our law does not allow us to do licensing to this type of DSPs or whatever,
Yeah.
We need the law. And once the law is there, and it's free for everybody who wants to do business in distribution, to do distribution on digital platforms.
Yeah.
The only difference will be you need to come to us to get a license for mechanical rights. Because every rights holder has different types of rights. They have public performance, whether you're going to just distribute or you're going to also play the music and public performance. So we are looking at that scope, but the law will mandate us, however, to say, okay, Irifa, you are now a distributor on online. You need a license if you are going to sell music as a digital. Yes, that is, we're going to be part of that, obviously.
Yeah.
I think I want thank you. I think I want to switch it over to Rizzy. Can you tell me, how did you come about working with Nascam?
So basically, Nascam is a body that is just there. So as a musician, once you have recorded your works, it's just right of you as an artist to basically just go to Nascam and then you register. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Nascam obviously does do a great job in terms of informing the industry, basically. I mean, they put out information out there to say that whoever it is that is a musician that is recording works of art, which is basically music, your songs.
But how don't not all the other artists?
Yeah.
Why don't they know?
Especially artists.
The newer artists.
You sometimes probably find that there might be artists that are outside in other regions that are probably not in Windhoek or maybe are probably not on social media and whatnot, because Nascam is visible, It's visible. You will see notices on it's visible. You'll see notices on Facebook, social media, basically, right? In the newspapers, they appear, right? So when they sometimes have announcements that they have to make, they will basically do that. And, as a musician, right? Like you guys have mentioned that, you're supposed to treat it like a business, right? So as a musician, you're supposed to know that there's supposed to be a body that should collect your royalties.
Exactly.
You understand? So obviously, if you did not know about Nascam, you obviously have to try to find out what is the body in my country that is responsible for collecting royalties for your music when it's playing on TV or on radio, basically, So if you did not know about Nascam, you obviously should try to find out about it.
Yeah. I think I want to add to what Rizzy is saying.
Yeah.
It's demographics as well. It's important to understand our demographics of the creative sector, especially the younger ones upcoming. Just the other day in my office, I had a young guy who came in with the promoter who wants to promote him. He's a young guy, probably early 20s, and he's just sitting there laid back because he doesn't know where he is.
He doesn't know anything.
He doesn't know, and that my message speaks to those type of demographics, the young ones, the early 20s. Early 90s, 80s, as soon as they leave school, because they don't really understand the whole concept of the music industry. They see only the fruits of their peers or the
glitz and the glamour.
The glamour, you understand? Yeah. Oh, it's nice, it's popular, it's good to be there. But they never really understood how to get into that industry. Where do we all start, Because I speak to them because it's more important for them to be able to understand, because the mistakes they're going to make at that early age will cost them more if they leave it and wait until they are older, Rizzy probably can say something about it, what mistakes he has made. Probably. He didn't just come in there knowing Nascam. There must have been, perceptions given to him. And I was just speaking to Mega the other day as well, and I tell you, the same perception he heard about Nascam was just, Nascam is not doing anything. You understand? He didn't understand what was the purpose. Maybe he thought we are there to promote them, to make them grow in their business. That's what they thought. But once you make these things understandable, to explain these things to them, then they will say, oh, okay, actually, I don't have to create, I have misdirected my expectations to Nascam. I must do my own business.
Exactly.
Whether they realize that it's hard work to get into a business and an industry where there is already existing players. I look at it in this way. Nascam is a player. Broadcasters are also players, but the demand of music is from the broadcasters and the users like us. And who are the suppliers? Those creators, those people, the megas, them who create hit songs. But they must understand they are in the market where they are already existing, users and demand or creators who have taken a share of that market. Now, to push your share bigger and to make your share bigger, you must be able to promote your music more through live shows and making yourself, platforms like this where you can come and speak and make your fans understand who you are and what you are for. It's very, very important. It's a business. It's just like in the marketing, any marketing, a product needs 4 P's, right? The place, the promotion, the product itself, and whatever. So it's the same principles here.
And it's good that you actually brought up the mega story, because now if we are to look at the mega situation that happened with the song that he did that blew up on TikTok and everywhere else, it's that, Mega was the original owner of the song. And then Piracy came through and then the song blew up. And then he used his leverage in South Africa. Since they have better infrastructure, they have better marketing, they have better, in terms of reception of music. So it kind of monetized for him, but never for Mega. And now you can see where it kind of hurts the Namibian artist in terms of you can have the most popular song. Right now you find a lot of artists who, let's say, do a TikTok and then it blows up. But since the infrastructure is not there for them to monetize, the song just fizzles out.
No, but they also don't know. When that entire thing happened, I think all they probably did more of Mega. He's make a TikTok video saying the song is mine. It's my song and whatever. They were going back and forth with TikTok videos. But what did they do? What did they do? Anything?
I remember I was in a board meeting. One of the board members called me and said, "Mr. Nikano, there is this guy," and it was last year. So there's this guy. Okay, what is this? No, he produced a hit song. Do you know Pekavene? It goes like that. And I say, okay, I'll check with my team whether the song is on the system. And I went quickly and I checked. No, that we don't have this.
Imagine.
It was not protected. It was not registered. Then I said, tell him to come see me. Simply as that. And he never came. And this year again in August, I called him and said, Mega, you never came. What happened? I said, Mr. Nikano, I'm really sorry. And I said, don't worry, but you need to come because as I speak right now, that song is still not registered.
Yes. And imagine that song is currently 6 million views.
That is so sad.
Yes.
It's not even 6 million. It's more than 6 million. It's 10 million. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, she's channel, it shows us
10 million, and then Mega's one is, I think,
1.6 million.
Now, looking at this situation, does Nascam have a relationship with all the other royalty bodies in different countries, like, Samro and whatnot, where you can collect royalties for Namibian artists when their songs are popular that side?
Definitely. We have plus minus 30 reciprocal agreements. We call them reciprocal agreements between ourselves, societies. Samro, the ones in South Africa, we only have Samro, CAPASSO, and then overseas as well. But also in the region of Africa, we do have. What it implies is that we have the similar agreement, meaning whatever song is being played in those countries, our musician, our rights holders song is being played in South Africa. We do collect royalties.
Right.
And if it's also South African rights holder songs are played here, we have to pay over the money. You remember the story that came up on the April Fool's Day that Nascam paid 10 million or something. It was an April Fool's Day. But yes, it is true. We pay more to international bodies, which is our sister societies, instead of paying to our own rights holders in Namibia. So that is where it comes. So we are looking at broadcasters playing more foreign music. We don't control the playlists for those broadcasters. It's not our problem. That is Cran problem. That is MICT problem. But what we do is, as long as they give us what they have played, we pay accordingly.
Because I remember there was a law that was passed. I don't know if it was passed or proposed, where it was supposed to be majority Namibian music played on local radio stations and whatnot. But I don't think I've seen it as much, because I sometimes, driving in the car, and then listening to, let's say, Radio Wave or whatnot, and I don't hear one single Namibian song.
Well, that's called the Code of Conduct in terms of the Broadcasters Act. And it's managed by CRAN and the Ministry of ICT. They, on an annual basis or after every 5 years, they ask the broadcasters, tell us, what did you play? And there's like a return, like on a monthly, on annual return, you supply the records and say, this is what we have played. And based on that, CRAN must give you or renew your license, broadcasting license. Now, what happens is a very interesting story. Since I came on board, I say, hold on. Why is CRAN giving authority to broadcasters to play our rights holders' music without asking us consent to say, before any broadcaster go to Nascam, get your permission to play music on your airwaves before you? That would have been the right way.
Yeah.
And we said that, and we objected and say, no, don't issue licenses to broadcasters without our permission. They say, no, our job is just to issue that. Go to the lawmakers. And this is where we are now currently. Now we are talking to the Ministry of ICT to allow Nascam license to be a requirement for any broadcasters being issued a license to CRAN. Meaning that in the future, if a broadcaster wants to be on the air, they have to come to us and say, okay, give me my license, then I can apply to CRAN, and CRAN will give me a license. We need collaboration between these stakeholders and regulating bodies.
Definitely.
So, yes, we do have agreements with with sister societies. We pay money. We pay more to foreign societies than our local members, unfortunately.
I actually want to switch it back to Rizzy. I think you were answering something, or was it? What are the challenges that you faced before?
In terms of Nascam?
Yes, in terms of Nascam on protecting your music.
So basically with Nascam, like also just getting back to what I was saying in terms of how does one even know whether there's like, a Nascam and whatnot, Sometimes you find that like, some of the radio stations, when you take your music to the radio station, usually they would ask that it should be accompanied by a letter from Nascam, right? And the only way that you're able to get a letter from Nascam is if you are a registered member.
Yes.
You open your file at Nascam, you enter all your works.
File at Nascam?
It's very simple. You just go to Nascam, you take a CD, and then they provide you with the application forms, right? You fill in your name, your government name, you fill in your artist name, if you're a group, and then you enter your works, right? Then you provide them with a CD that's got now like, so if it's an album, for example, or if it's a single, or if it's an EP that's got maybe 5 tracks or 4 tracks, you need to make sure that like, those 4 tracks that are on your EP should be on the CD that you provide Nascam so that they keep it in their archives.
Do you want to interject?
Yeah, I just want to ask him from his perspective.
If it has something to do with this, you can, but can you continue what we're saying?
Yeah, he can continue. I just wanted to ask him in terms of, we were talking about metadata and all that.
Yes.
Do you make sure that your songs created have those metadata, the ISWC codes, for instance? I know we don't have those, but do you make sure that when you register, you notify Nascam, your works has shareholding, obviously, who is the author, composer, and also the producer? It has to be split.
Yes, the splits basically are there for my music. We have done the splits. All the members that I've worked with my music, on my music, all have files at Nascam, and we do have our splits. The only other thing that we haven't, or I haven't personally looked at, like, as an artist, is the codes in terms of like platforms now, music platforms, publishing and whatnot, we were functioning as a publisher. The record labels that I was signed under, which is Crazy E and RVINC, when it comes to publishing rights and whatnot, I don't think we were really well versed. I don't think we were really well versed in terms of like now making sure that you have your publishing in place, legally and whatnot. Because we've encountered certain things, back in the days, because I had music I think I was probably maybe like one of the probably the first artists in Namibia, hip hop artist that had music playing on Channel O. Right?
Is it?
Yeah, way back. You know, I think my music probably was even on Channel O before The Dog and Gaza.
Yeah,
you know?
remember that was early.
Yeah. So based on that, you know, we had instances where we had guys that used to come record at our studios that are like, you know, from Angola and whatnot. And they would say that like, you know, people in Angola are using my song for adverts and, you know, and all sorts of things, you know, like the songs got very, very popular, you know, outside of the country. Because I had like 2 music videos, Nakae and Down and Under. They were quite popular around Africa, you know, East Africa, Nigeria, Angola, you know, and all that, you know. So they would sometimes come and say like, you know, you guys should go to Angola, man. You should go perform in Angola because your song Down and Under is doing great in Angola, you know, people are going crazy about your song, you know. So in that instance, we're not even probably like really aware of the aspect of whether somehow maybe radio stations had our song, you know, or whether they're only watching it on DSTV channel O, you know. But it was something that was like, you know, but like I somehow feel like, you know, somewhere here and there, because we were not really focusing on making sure that our publishing rights are in place, you know, our IP and all that, you know, somehow I feel like we lost out, you know.
Yeah.
We've lost out on quite a lot because for somebody to just take your works, for example, and use it in an advert and stuff.
It's quite unfortunate.
You know?
I think we have a lot of that because remember, for Nascam also, one of the biggest misconceptions we are dealing with is that we are representing all the creators' rights. Remember, I've just mentioned to you mechanical rights. It's not even one of the rights we hold for our members. Mechanical rights, meaning that if somebody is making duplicate copies for them of their works, we are not mandated to protect them because it must come from the members to say, hold my mechanical rights, collect also on my behalf for the mechanical rights. One of the issues he just mentioned is synchronization rights. So if people come and use Rizzy's songs in Coca-Cola adverts or anywhere, those are also not one of the rights we are protecting our members. Remember, Nascam only protects public performance. Public performance in the sense your song is being played at a speaker out to the public on a radio channel. That's it, basically, public performance.
Okay.
That's the only right we are protecting for our members. But now we are broaden our scope to include mechanical rights. We also want to broaden that scope to say synchronization right. Anybody wants to use our members' work in a video or promotional video, whatever, they must also get a license from Nascam.
All right.
So, but you understand, 2 rights we are getting, but we are only managing 1 at the moment. It makes a difference. And you must understand the skepticism from the members, why they believe we are not protecting them in terms of the platforms in YouTube and all that is because they don't understand what right we are protecting. Yeah.
And not to say that, okay, because right now we're thinking digital, we're thinking of how the world has changed. How about we think on changing systems that have already existed? Like, let's say, for example, we are looking at the jukeboxes. Jukeboxes have always been an issue when it comes to piracy and whatnot. And right now, a lot of jukeboxes have moved from the point where it was physical CDs that are being bought to now you have digital jukeboxes. Yeah. So now, how do we monitor that? Because right now, let's say, for example, I have a bar somewhere and I get someone to code something for me on my jukebox where I can allow Apple Music to play or Spotify to play using that jukebox.
It's possible?
Yeah, it's very possible. All I need to do is make sure that whatever system I'm using can connect to those apps. Whether I'm using Windows, I can have...
Yeah, because basically in a jukebox, it's basically just a computer.
It's just a computer.
So when they insert a CD, that's most the times now when it was like CDs, it was basically like a shuttle.
Yeah.
You know, like the shuttle that you have in your car, the CD shuttle that you have in your car. And then for now that like, you know, it's USBs and whatnot, it's basically just a computer in the box, you know.
Yeah.
You put in the USB and, you know, it plays digitally, like it plays the music, it plays the music videos,
100%.
you know, and whatnot. And even with in terms of licensing from Nascam, obviously the jukebox holders obviously have to have a license from Nascam for them to have the right to actually play the music. And then we've also found where some of the record labels, like let's say for example like Young T or Mshasho, basically have also gone a further step to creating their own licenses as well. Yes.
Okay.
So they also have where certain jukebox holders that have want access for their music, they should also have their license as well, together with the Nascam license. Yes. So this is now like record labels personally, basically protecting themselves also from their side legally as well.
Yeah, it's what they call encrypted music as well. You know, it's very important that creators have that option to have their music encrypted, meaning without your permission, any jukebox owner cannot just download your music and be played. It must be like you have purchased it validly. It can only be released from a platform once you have purchased, made a legal purchase, basically. So those are the security you can get as well. Yeah.
So are there, let's say, plans to reach out to this, Apple Music, YouTube, Spotify, where you can kind of create partnerships as Nascam with those bodies, in the sense of like, okay, we know a lot of artists already distribute through you, but now we are the society that's supposed to, facilitate that distribution. Are there plans to...
We have already that agreement in place through a third party, which we call CAPASSO, meaning anybody who distribute music through Spotify, YouTube, those channels, they go through CAPASSO, which is with like agency agreement between them to say whatever is being done in its local music from Namibia being sold on those platforms, you collect on behalf of Nascam. That's what is being done. That's for public performance. But we are moving into the mechanical rights as well now. Yes.
So basically, with regards to Nascam and digitalization, so in our country, for example, we've had a situation where we're not able to monetize, on music platforms. For the longest time, like YouTube, whatnot, people, people would, basically, people would literally try to use different IP addresses, from other countries, to try to at least have a monetization of some sort, which somehow, some way, sometimes can be a bit dangerous, let's say you have somebody in South Africa and you somehow feel like you can trust this person to, for you to use, their area code and whatnot, IP address and whatnot for your YouTube, for example, your music, gains a whole lot of views, a whole lot of subscribers, the money comes in, and then, at the end of the day, this person probably... Well, I don't know if it's legal. Maybe Mr. Albert Nicanor can tell us, but all I know is that, Namibian artists have somehow resorted to those avenues for them to try to just get something out of it. You get what I mean? When your music plays on Spotify, when it plays on Apple Music, wherever on all these platforms, right? You're not able to get anything out of it. We have issues with PayPal. Just so for our government basically to just get to a level where this has been debated in Parliament. The motion has been passed in Parliament, and so for the longest time we've just been on the fence, just hoping and praying that our government or the bodies that are responsible for trying to push that move can actually just come through and speed up some of those processes, mechanical rights and all those things, because it's been quite an issue for artists, man. Artists try to do their level best to produce or create very good music. Your music can be distributed on movies, on games, your music can play in an elevator, and all these things and whatnot. So at the end of the day, one obviously would love that, if you worked very hard on your music, right? You put in a lot of money to produce this music and whatnot. At least there should be some form of justice in terms of the the mechanical rights and, us making sure that like these bills are passed as a country, so that we are able to receive our royalties through all these different avenues, basically,
Because before you answer that, I just want to add to what Rizzy is saying. Like currently, there's a few artists that we've been working with, particularly Dick and Jaffa and Skipper Wills. So we've put their music up for distribution because our record label is also signed up with Nascam. So now what we do is on Spotify and Apple Music and Deezer, these songs have made almost 40,000 of money we cannot collect because it's tied up on the other side by Deezer because there's specific things that you need to reach.
Yes.
Like in terms of like, your country, your cap is this. This is how much you should make before we pay you out because your population is here. So now those are some of the things that also hinder distribution through those channels.
Definitely. I think my easy answer to that is we don't have legislation in place. One can ask yourself, if you have to go to such an extreme, like Rizzy say, to go through to another person's IP, to use another IP, why is it like that? It's just because there's no enabling law for Namibians to be able to do it from Namibian IP. So it's just a legislation problem. And the legislators have not realized that they are hampering creators. Now they understand that there is an issue. They have not ratified. Number two, also the WIT treaties, WIPO treaties, they need to be ratified. We have 3 treaties which needs to be ratified, and they deal specifically with the digital platforms and to align our standards to international standards. Those treaties has been there. They have been pushed by BIPA. BIPA have not made any inroads, and they are pushing it to us and say, please, Nascam, since you are the people with the affected people, can you help government push this now so that they can ratify the treaties and also push the bill to be enacted. So it's really an issue about the bill not being enacted because there's no much drive from our creators. If they could feel the creators push, they understand now the creators are frustrated. They can toy tomorrow in the streets and say, no more. We want these things to be in place. So it is a fact. They are being hampered negatively because of the inability of the legislation to enable them to do that. So those platforms, once the law is there, we will be able to collect royalties from them. And our members are free to go and ask anybody to distribute their works on those platforms. So for us, it's not an issue to say what needs to be in place and how are we going to do. Are we ready? We are ready, but the law is not ready.
The law is not ready,
We can only help the creators if the law. It is not currently an illegal thing. Let me put it. It's not an illegal thing if something is not in law. Do you understand what that means? If it's illegal to download somebody's work on online, there must have been a law to enable that. But right now, there's no law. So it means it's free for all. Anything being streamed online, there's no law protecting those works.
So basically, talking about distribution and whatnot, on social music platforms, I mean, since this bill has been taking so long, for people to just try to put this legislation in place and whatnot, isn't there possibly maybe, Mr. Nicanor, like other ways that we can try to explore? Let's say, for example, we have a very low population, right? Our population is plus minus similar to that of Botswana. Countries like South Africa, for example, have much, much, much higher populations, A lot of those countries, Nigeria and whatnot, have very high populations. And that obviously probably really contributes to them having, if they were to probably put a legislation like that into place, it might probably take them much faster pace, They've already had those bills passed in their countries, So isn't there possibly a way maybe we can try to work out relationships with maybe a country like Botswana, for example? We have like a combined
population
thingy, so that like in terms of capacity, we can possibly approach it from that standpoint, to say that like, on all these distribution platforms and whatnot, if we maybe had like a combined, capacity with maybe Botswana, for example, are we able to maybe then push it a bit faster?
I cannot foresee what will happen, for instance, if we do ratify the treaties and if the law comes in. But my point is, if we are ready to be able to distribute, for distribution channels to enter our market, and we don't need to picky bang on another country's jurisdiction to be able to, for them to enter our market. So if our market is open for those distributors to come in, my feeling is just, you are free to come into a market and to collect and to sell and to whatever. The only issue is there enough content for them? Is there enough content to sell on their platforms? You understand? I don't know the metrics they use to be able to determine what market they go to. But all I'm saying is, if our market is ready for those platforms to enter through our legislation, it enables them. Then there's nothing for them to collect and to do business. And also there's nothing from our own Namibian entrepreneurs to enter the market of distribution and come up with their own platforms that will enable local content to be consumed elsewhere in the world.
Right.
So you understand what I'm saying is, I don't want to say we need this, we can do that. No, I'm just saying once the law is there, I cannot foresee why we cannot do what South Africans are doing in their country with those channels.
All right, 100%. But say the law is set. If population is still a problem with them, let's say, for example, they're like, okay, but it's too small.
What is their key consideration?
Because
what metrics do they use basically to determine?
I'm asking you now, what is their key consideration?
Because I feel like
coming to the market,
one of the main considerations is still buying power. Because buying power is something that they'll look at first before they're like, okay, we can enter that industry, because you need to now look at the demographics within Namibia. How many people are of buying power, like comparing the whole population as it's already small. And then you break down from that segment, how many people are going to be driving like most of the sales and what not, the distribution. So if you look at, let's say, for example, you look at the majority of the country, it's up north. A lot of these people still don't use this digital platforms to buy their songs. With them, it's either you're on WhatsApp, someone WhatsApps you the song. So now you remove that whole population, and then now you focus on
the urban population.
Yes. And you focus on, from that urban population, the ages maybe, let's say, 20 to 45.
Yes.
Now from that segment,
now you have a smaller urban population too.
Exactly.
So the solution is the entrepreneurship. The risk takers must come in and say, we see an opportunity here for that market which needs to tap in. Don't look at what is available. You want to grow that market which is not penetrated. You want to get that market. So if your largest share is those who are using WhatsApp, create a platform that allows them to buy.
Via WhatsApp.
Yes, through airtime or whatever. So I mean, let's not brand ourselves as we are ready for all those global platforms. Let's create our own unique platforms that can distribute our own local music.
I mean, locally we have I came across a platform called Donlu Africa.
Donlu Africa,
Or they've even gone further to basically call themselves Donlu Africa. In a sense, so that they open it up to the rest of the world, basically. In terms of they're able to get music videos on their platform from other countries that are apart from Namibia. But now also just looking at something like that, for example, this is like a DSP that is local, right? So what is it as Namibians, as musicians and as consumers of music, are we also doing to see to it that we support, for example, a local platform like that,
See, Rizzy, what I was talking earlier about, these record labels, the big ones, Universal, Sony, they put their products or their music on those platforms, because the setup they have done, they've spent already a lot of millions in setting up. They rely on those platforms to collect the data. You understand? So now our problem is we have these self-producers like Rizzy who have no ISWC codes and they want to distribute their music to be distributed.
Yeah.
We need to set up a proper recording labels infrastructure for them to be able to have standards on how to create records that can be put on any distribution DSPs. So we don't have to start looking at wanting to go into those DSPs. Let's set up our own ecosystem properly that is sufficient to be, to be used by other DSPs. Yes,
100%. Because I'm also familiar with one that's in South Africa. It's called Five. So Five operates the same way a DistroKid or a TuneCore would operate. So you upload your music on their platform and then they'll give it to YouTube and whatnot. So they are sort of like an intermediary company.
Yes.
So now I feel like with Namibia, that's the first thing we do. Instead of having a Donlu that's competing with a Spotify, we need a Donlu that's competing with a DistroKid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see,
That should now be sort of like be affiliated in that sense, as in they're like a middleman, and then they now have licensing for them to be able to distribute.
Yeah, you see, I was talking earlier on about the digital rights registry. This is exactly where this DSP depends on.
Okay.
Instead of you depositing your music to a specific DSP, you deposit it in a national digital rights depository.
Yes.
Where all your rights, the Namibian rights are there, and whoever wants to distribute must come and tap in and pay license to tap into that distribution, and then they sell it.
Yeah.
That is the idea with the new bill. The new bill has already that centralized system. We say we're going to have a national digital rights registry.
Yeah.
Everybody will register their songs. And for any distributor, they have to tap in there. That's how it works.
100%. So, okay, let's talk about now pipe music. So like music that plays in like your shop rides.
Nice time using it. They call it pipe.
Yeah. Pipe music.
Okay.
So let's look at like your shop rides, your jets and whatnot. They play a lot of music. And as people come in, traffic, that is public music. It's a public space. So now the question is, do we have jurisdiction, or who has jurisdiction to make sure that, there's at least 80% local music played in these spaces, or, local Namibian artists also making royalties from this music being played?
All right. I've earlier said Nascam is mandated. Its territory is Namibia. Remember, we're not here just to protect local music. We are also here to protect foreign music being played in Namibia. Whether it's Michael Jackson, Phil Collins music, anybody. Yes, we have the same. We protect it the same right.
Okay.
So meaning, if ShopRite is playing background music, the restaurants are playing background music, we call that general license, meaning we do not expect them to give us exact usage they've played. For instance, on their radio, they have special radios. They say, okay, it's a channel, jet channel or radio, ShopRite channel. They just play music during the day. We don't ask them to provide us whose song they have played during each day. We call it a general license. They can play whatever song they want, and it's up to them. All we need is just they pay us. That's what we call general license. Now, in this general license money, it's money which is collected without usage specifically to say, oh, they have played Michael Jackson or Phil Collins song this many times. We don't have that record. What we do is we just collect that money. It's general license. We collect it from restaurants, shops, hotels, any place that plays background music. And that's what we call general license, and we distribute it according to the distribution for broadcasters. So if we collect usage, broadcasters, there is no option. They must provide us the usage, meaning on a month basis, they tell us Phil Collins was played 100 times, Josie Joe's song was played 10 times. And that is the data we use to ingest in our system. Remember, our system is not only comprised of local music, Namibian music, it's comprised of the whole world's music. We have plus minus 700 million. Yes, 700 million, if I remember correctly, last time we checked. We don't count that.
Yeah.
But that's the repertoire in our database. So anything that is being consumed in the nation and in Namibia, and it relates to the database we have, those 700 million rights holders, it can be matched. Meaning on a monthly basis, all those other societies, we are able to tap into their databases and see what are the new record or music that has been created, and it's on our database on a month-to-month basis.
Okay.
That's what we do. So meaning Gaza song that has been created today is on the system in Namibia, can also be on the system in South Africa or in Europe. You understand? So it's not like we are operating blindly. We know we are talking to one another. We have a common system. All the societies we call a common system, CIS system, and we use that system to be able to identify what is consumed in our territories. Our territories, Namibia, South Africa calls their territories South Africa.
Yeah.
They then ingest that usage into the system to match to what is in the system. So the only thing that we use is to match what is on the system. This is a common information system we are using.
Since this is a general license that we're talking about, now, let's say I'm an artist and I have one of the most popping songs, and for some reason people, just love that song, and it's played more often in that specific shop. And like when the person is in the shop, they buy more stuff, they're enjoying, they stay around a little longer. So now, how does that make sure that money reaches back to me? Because now, I'm getting more airplay in that specific space. And if it's only a general license, that means I do not monetize off of that. And now, that's the first question. Second question is also, now, if the digital system is put in place, will the general license be altered or tweaked a little bit so it can accommodate scenarios like that?
Yeah, the same logic applies for your first question. I mean, the same logic will apply because to a person whose music is not being played in those stores, he's benefiting, but you are also benefiting. We are bound to monitor them, but we don't have the equipment to monitor them. And that's why we leave them out and we say they can just be general. And how we apply the distribution for that money is the only way is to use the broadcaster's usage. Unfortunately, if your song was played many times in ShopRite on a daily basis, and you are not one of the people, you are not being consumed on radio, then radio gave us the usage and they say, your song is only played once. Okay. So it means you will only get a fair chance. You will only get, you will only get $1, for instance, for all this money, from all this money, general license. But if you had more usage on TV or radio, you will get a bigger share of this. Okay. So it's inverse. Yeah. The second question applies to say, monitoring that is not internationally standard. Most CMOs like what we do, they don't monitor stores and restaurants. Yes, but because it's going to be generally foreign music, you must remember. They will not play Gaza in a restaurant, ambience music. We don't have ambient music. Yeah. You will have to play something like it's ambience, Mozart and those type of thing. Understand? Yeah. So they will lose out mostly. If you have to say we monitor specific shops to play, Woolworths will play ambient music because they understand what type of music brings their customers, what type of customers they want to keep in the store. Yeah. You understand? So unless you are saying
that's a little bit offensive.
No, I'm just saying. Ambience is a marketing. Obviously, these people look at marketing. They are saying, what type of music is ambience music that caters generally? General market.
It actually makes a lot of sense because when you speak of ambience music, it's a category on its own. You understand? So it's the same way we have genres, Yeah. So you cannot probably necessarily, maybe let's say, for example, you're in an elevator and there's like exe, koko, patulu, like, you get what I mean? Like in the elevator, you know? So, so basically, so basically like, the other time I was at a country club, you know? Okay, I mean.
No, he's a creator. He knows what it is.
It can say koko, you know, open the elevator door or whatnot, but so like one time I was at a country club, or the couple of few times that I was at country club, you know, I would go into the bathrooms and there's ambience music playing, right? And this is just ambience music. Like it's a specific tone, you know, it's supposed to relax you, you know, when you get into the bathroom and whatnot. So you know, it's got a specific purpose and whatnot. So he was actually very right in terms of saying, ambience music can't also just be any type of music. You check, you know. So as musicians, for example, right? When we do our music, sometimes, because music, like we're saying, music is supposed to be business, right? So when you're doing your music, if you are really trying to push your music as a business, right? You can basically also start molding and sculpting your music in such a way that you target specific, you know. So let's say, for example, we've had movies where they've had soundtracks, right? And the great creators that I have seen locally in our country have gone to the extent of basically having the music sessions, right, in the studio. That like the director of the film will possibly also be in the recording session for the song, you know, that is going to be used as a soundtrack for the movie, you know. So in such a way that like there's some form of sound design that has to go behind the scenes in terms of that, you know, where you are really taking proper care in terms of real target marketing with your music, you know. So if you wanted your music to be played in a restaurant, or for it to be sort of like ambience music, see to it that you do your research, you know, you study what ambience music is supposed to sound like, you know, and then create it for that particular specific market. If you wanted to tap into that, you know, or if you wanted to tap into gaming, for example, you wanted your music to be applied in games, you know, you need to play games and see that like, okay, no, in this particular game, if it's GTA, if it's what, you know, they play this type of music, if it's funky, if it's, you know, all that, you get what I mean? So within music business, you need to always have that mindset of trying to make sure that like you have target markets and see where it is that you can possibly make good money, you know, because a lot of the times that like, you know, we've explored so many different avenues, right? We've explored all these DSPs and all this digital music and whatnot. And most people, or like radio stations, for example, even when it comes to radio stations, for example, you might realize that like some radio stations don't even pay royalties. You understand? So because of the fact that you if you do your research and you find out which radio stations are paying royalties, you know, or then TV, then you push in that direction. You check, you know. So a lot of artists, most cases, tend to be, they're not really so aggressive, you know, when it comes to like really pushing their music and really trying to have like proper target markets and whatnot, you know, in terms of you just making sure that your music gets consumed and you make something out of your music, you know. So if there are avenues that are not working, target the ones that you know might work, you know. Target the radio stations that you know are paying royalties. Take your music there.
Yes, it's a business.
You know?
And sorry, just to interject again there. I think most importantly is the business aspect is what is key here. Your brand. You are a brand of your own music. You must be able to push it and say, where do you want your brand to be heard or seen? You can go to breweries, you can go to Coca-Cola and say, hey, I have a good song here. Can you use it in the adverts? You know, that's you pushing your own brand. Yes, it's a business in that sense.
So then, are there any mentorship programs for young musicians or upcoming musicians?
No, at the moment they are not. Because we are speaking to the Ministry of Education, which is the responsible ministry for creators in general. What we are trying to direct them to do is to exactly bring those type of institutions in Namibia. They are not there. UNAM don't have them. NAS don't have them. We want them to be able to say, bring in a course that will just teach people, the whole creative sector. And the other day I attended the conference with NIPDB.
Even College of the Arts does not have that.
Yes, NIPDB. They had Estonia. Estonia is one of the best countries with creators of education system. They create like degrees, short courses, and even up to master level, I think. Yeah. So you can get them in Estonia. But these are the things we need for Namibian creators. Entry level, not like a course, but some basic information. They can go in and they can just get the 2-3 weeks course training, and they are equipped with some basic skills, and then they can go and train themselves further. Those are the things we are pushing for the ministry to be able to bring through the existing systems already. Because as I earlier said, ministry is doing things but piecemeal, without really a cohesive looking at the whole system, how it benefits the system. We need them to be already there.
Yeah, so because I think most of the questions that we may have is for the industry. For the ministry. Because the ministry will still need to let us know if they even have the capacity for this, budgets for this, all these things. So, yeah.
Do rural or regional artists have the same visibility as those from Windhoek?
Look, that is also a ministry question. They have what they call extension officer or education officers in those regions. They are supposed to be the ones teaching these young people who wants to enter into these industries to say, you can venture into this, there's these opportunities, these are the things you can go and do. Because Nascam cannot do that because we are not a national body in terms of training those, what are the pathways for music. And what I've said just now earlier also is to say, since the government has made it a mandatory requirement for creatives to be a sector, and to be recognized, those are the things that needs now to be established in the existing channels, in the existing infrastructure, in the ministries, regionally. If you are a Tsunkwe somewhere there, they must be able to say, oh, you are a creator, how do you want to join music? This is where you can get the information. Those are the type of things that the ministry must do, unfortunately.
And another thing that I've kind of noticed as a musician personally is that artists are not really the type of people that usually would attend meetings, attend sessions. We've had a couple of sessions, Nascam, for example, would have AGMs and stuff, things that affect you as a musician, or the record labels and whatnot, So at the end of the day, it's quite sad that you'd have people that are functional or they claim to call themselves musicians, right? But then at the end of the day, they're not attending, let's say, for example, just, the Nascam meetings, You're not attending the Nascam meetings where the information is being given that affects you as a musician, right? So how is it that you are supposed to expect things to move for you if you're not even able to take, those 2 hours or 3 hours, away on a Saturday or on a Sunday, just to go and attend a meeting, So you be at those meetings and there's 15 people, 10 people, and it's a whole industry that's got
9,000
members, that are registered at Nascam.
Yeah.
Of course, we have those that are in the regions and whatnot. You might not obviously expect somebody to get into a bus and come all the way from Keetmans to come and attend a Nascam meeting. But there's so many musicians that are in Windhoek. You understand? So at the end of the day, that notion or that perception somehow needs to change in the mindsets of musicians or artists, basically, for them to develop that mindset. Because now you probably be giving workshops or you'll be giving information sessions and nobody shows up.
Yeah.
You understand? You are out there in Opuo or Khobabes or wherever, in the regions, you trying to see to it that you roll out all this information and roll out these workshops and trying to make sure that people are capacitated, right? But the artists themselves, whether it's upcoming artists or established artists, are not coming out, you know. So that's also like an issue, you know. Artists need to look at that and look at themselves and know that, like, you know, there's a lot that is also expected from them, you know, not necessarily just to say Nascam has to do this, government has to do this. What are you as an artist also expected to do? Yeah, what is your input, you know?
Does Nascam have any other offices besides the one in Windhoek?
No. Our main target really is to reach out to the users, which are scattered all over the country. And at the same time, we also have to cater for the members. No, we do not have regional offices.
Then when you say to cater for everybody all over, how does one that lives in Rundu or wherever else come? Do they have to come to Windhoek to register their songs, or is there any other?
They, unfortunately, you have to come to Windhoek, but we try to have a solution for that, which is the online portal.
Okay.
Our website, which we have just created, allows there is an option for a portal to come on board for them to register online everywhere, anywhere in the world. So this is work in progress. Our portal is being developed currently as we speak. So it means in due course.
Oh, it's not ready yet.
It's not yet ready. So because we have designed specifically the website to allow for that portal. So the portal is now being developed, and that's the only thing now that we are waiting to be finalized so that we can roll it out.
Okay, has it always been like that? Because
it has always been.
I would have sworn I signed up to be an artist at Nascam in Oshakati.
Yes, there was an office in Oshakati.
Oh.
That's the only thing I can say. The office has been closed down because of leakages. People were not managed properly. They were maintaining, and there are a lot of internal issues, lack of controls.
So then do we only want one office?
Yes.
Okay.
Ideally, we only want one office because, to be honest, it's a cost to the company to have offices. Let me just say it truly, because we have 9,000 members. And during any distribution we are making, where we have to distribute money, out of those 9,000, we only distribute to 2,000. It makes sense to you to say it's not really viable to have an office everywhere, because it's not really everybody that brings in money.
Yes.
It's not all their works that brings in money to Nascam. Only 2,000 of those people is the ones that maintains Nascam.
So when will we know the website is ready, the portal?
We will, in our media platforms, we will announce when the platform is ready.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a project we have been working on since this year.
Okay.
Yes.
But I think that's promising.
It's promising, not just for the members. We also cater for the users. A DJ, for instance, in Rundu, he cannot come here to get a license.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And that's why we are doing it now. We want to allow them to do online. Now, with everything said and done, we will be able now, as of end of this year, for goodness sake, perhaps, you will see our names on the Airtime City platforms, where people can buy their DJ license, where they can, Jukeboxes can pay their license. We are avoiding the cash issue because it's causing a lack of controls, because we have so many jukebox owners, for instance. There are 11,000 of them, and we cannot go every time to collect those money once a year. So we are allowing now a service provider to collect those bills for us on an annual basis. Airtime City was the best offer we can get to say they are countrywide. We'll just put our Nascam logo there, and they can come and say, I want to pay my jukebox. You can pay directly.
With all these upcoming things, I want to become an artist.
Yeah, Jolie.
No, honestly.
If you were to become an artist, what will you call you?
Artist.
What will your artist name be?
You're okay.
Jolene.
Jolene.
J-Lizzy.
I can't be singing gospel songs with such a name.
Jolizzy. Oh, okay.
So
Jolas.
It's both.
Oh, there are good stuff coming, to be honest. I have the heart of the suffering creators in Tsunkwe, in Utapi, Kietmansop. I hear their cries on an annual basis.
So
on a
the
daily
artist
basis.
in Tsunkwe.
Yeah, you are.
Should have expected that. Yeah. So then, would you say, or are music events well organized and artist centered?
Pardon?
are music events well organized and artist centered? Besides me being a musician, going to, let's say, Osona Village Cultural Festival, and I go there, I perform, they pay me whatever. What else can happen around that?
Yeah, those are unfortunately things which is out of Nascam control.
Okay.
What we do is we license the event. We tell you how many people, we ask you how many people are going to attend. You say 100 people, and who are the people who are going to perform? You give us a set list and their songs. You give us those information, and we ask you to pay a certain amount.
Do people know this, or is it a new thing as well?
No, it's not a new thing. It has been happening. It sounds new.
Anything like that has
It sounds, yeah, because there is a high non-compliance in Namibia, unfortunately, for copyright. High non-compliance is an issue.
We organized last year's cultural festival here, and I don't even know people could.
Yes. Now, once we know, we do send out demand letters to say, you are hosting this event, please come to us and do the right thing. So we try to do that now often. And as I've said, we need IT people, experts. We don't have those in our company. And I think they are going to be costly. We need people who are developing crawlers to go on the website.
Are there any posts available for that?
No, I'm just saying the idea is to have crawlers on the website. People can post their events there on social media. And we need the technology to be able to pick up on these events so that we can approach them online and say, oh, you are hosting this event. Can you come in?
So then if you need it, are you guys working towards hiring now the IT people?
Yes, we are hiring. We are looking at developing our capacity. Number one is financial capacity. Right now, with the Ministry of Industrialization, which is the mother body that is responsible for TRIPS, which is the copyright and all that, we are looking at. We have a MOU to help Nascam come up with all this. We have given them our 5-year plan, what we want to do, and those are the things they need to help us financially. If God will, they can provide the funding for us, and then we can roll out these things much easier. Because right now, as I say, as we talk, we have to tap in too deep into the pockets of the creators to help fund for these things, and they don't want. For instance, a monitoring system, just for the 20 broadcasters we have currently in Namibia, or plus minus, it costs us 600,000. It will cost 600,000. The 600,000 is money which, if we have to spend it, we can spend that money, but it will reduce the royalties because everything has to be, is capital expenditures, you understand?
Exactly.
We are looking at those capital expenditures that government can help us fund so that the market, we can grow. Sunk cost. You only spend once on capital, big things, and then it's over. And then the rest is to generate more money. That's what it means.
And so, okay, because I also want to understand in terms of Nascam generating more money, are there initiatives that you guys are looking at, especially in the creative industry? Because now everything is so privatized where festivals are being run by people. Let's say you just own events company, then you do your festival. But is Nascam also looking to tap into those industries where the entertainment industry is already functioning? So Nascam can actually benefit from that through events, through, collaborations with different big brands like the Namibian breweries and whatnot, just to kind of create more funds to help you facilitate more of those things that you need to do.
Yeah. Nascam cannot do business, okay? We are not.
You're okay.
No, I'm just saying because it must be very clear. We have a clear mandate. We are non-profit. We are not supposed to make money. We are just supposed to help the creators, okay? As much as people think we can do this, we can do that, that's one of those big misconceptions, We cannot.
Where they're saying Nascam doesn't do anything.
Yeah. They don't understand the limitations of the law in terms of a collective management society. But those are the things that we can do with other stakeholders. Like, for instance, if there is a stakeholder like the ministry, we can say, partner up with this and see that we can create more resources for Nascam to be able to collect more. For instance, I just forgot that there was a good thought I wanted to share now. The idea of, or Airtime City, for instance, it's something that is collecting more money for us, because if we are everywhere visible, people in Oshakati, in Oshana, in Tsunkwe, they may not want to come to go to a bank or Grootfontein to pay for their jukebox license. But if there is a platform like Airtime City in their service station somewhere nearby, or there is a Kazang machine somewhere there nearby, they can just easily pay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is how to expand our revenue base is through the current bill. The current bill, unfortunately, there is something there which is coming, and it will help creators more, which is the private copy levy. Private copy levy in the new bill allows for every device that is having storage, like a cell phone, TV, computers, everything that is storage to be sold or imported, there will be a levy on those devices, and that levy will be collected by NAMRA. NAMRA then pays over to BIPA, and BIPA will pay the money to Nascam and to distribute. That is an additional revenue for creators.
All right,
and
because what I wanted to talk about, in terms of, like you said, through partnerships, it can be created. So like in terms of, let's say, Nascam partnering with Kasi Vibe to be able to facilitate those events, is still not a possibility.
Kasi Vibe is an entrepreneurship. They want to make money. All we care about when they do their business is make sure that it's compliant with copyright law. Those people who are going to perform there must have licenses. You see, what we advocate for, like for instance, at municipalities, people do not seem to understand the concept. Even municipalities don't understand why do they need a license from us. They come and they say, but you have a hall, a municipal hall, right? That hall to us, it's a public event or a place where music can be played. The city, who is the owner, in terms of the act, whoever owns that venue must pay a license to us, whether there's music played or not, because we are saying in any event, you're going to hire out that event to somebody who want to host a wedding and they are playing music there. And then we don't need to chase that person coming to rent the venue. We only want the owner to pay to us directly the royalties on an annual basis. That's what we do. So remember now, schools do the same thing now. They go out and they say, well, we have a nice concert, and we say, pay us. That's all we want. You can charge whatever you charge to the person who rents the venue, but all we want is the money for the public performance that's going to be done there.
And what happens to that money?
That is the money we call general public for royalties for the members as well. It's also royalties for the members. Now, we have high rate of non-compliance with municipalities because they do not understand.
So we also keep hearing about, from the ministry that there's money that's planned to go into the creative industry. Is some of that money also intended for Nascam? And if it is, how is it going to be used?
The other day, I just saw the launch of the NDP 6. A lot of plans in there. But my problem is still the law is not changed. They want to do all these plans and all these things, but the law does not enable us to do whatever they want us to think we can do. Okay, that's one of the things we are going to discuss with the ministers and say, please, can you try to do things in a sequence? Implement the law, and these are the plans that can follow. So the money which they talked about, if I understand correctly, it was going to be for awards. Award is one of the things that rights holders want recognition. They want recognition to be awarded. Okay, it is a good thing for us. We welcome it. Whether we're gonna, as Nascam, remember Nascam represent only rights holders in the music. There are also other type of rights holders which we are not talking about in the creative space, which is the authors of books, the designers, everybody. Those are creatives. What they're gonna do with those creators, I don't know, but I know they have already alluded to the fact that they want to bring things, the similar type of concept like the NAMAs, which is the awards for creators. We are happy, we are welcoming it because it has been a long
time
without awards, But whether the system in government can handle awards, it's another thing. Bureaucracy is not a good thing, but we want them to approach it in a way that it benefits eventually the creators. We don't just want, it's money spent, and then what happens? There's no recognition actually. That person still sits where or she was 10 years back. you know.
Yeah.
You said event planners are supposed to report to Nascam for whatever.
Yes.
But to pay you.
Yeah.
But will they really do that?
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we have very good promoters we work with, but we are not there where we want to be. As I said,
Yes.
we want to have a market where people are complying without us, reaching out to them, where they say, "Oh, Nicanor, I know you guys are doing this. Can you just get our money and do that?" That's where we want to be. And we also, one of the things, unfortunately, that happens, these are our own rights holders, the musicians. Rizzy will go and perform at the city of Windhoek, while city of Windhoek did not pay Nascam. Then he comes and say, "Oh, I need money from Nascam." It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You don't go to a non-compliant event and then expect us to pay you.
Yes.
Because we can only pay you what those people
are paying.
are paying us. So it's also the rights of the rights holders to make sure when they sign agreements, they say, "Can you just check, give me your permit with Nascam?" Those are the things we want to move to, because we don't want creators are all over there. During elections, for instance, they will go to these political parties, they perform. And then they say, they will not ask, "Did you check with Nascam? Did you check with Nascam?" That is their obligation, because they are members of Nascam.
Yes.
They shouldn't just feel it's Nascam's job.
Yes.
You go and sign something up in the public relating to music. The first thing you say, "Can you show me your
I
license?"
don't think anybody signs anything. I just feel like they just be like,
Yeah, they
"Oh,
don't sign.
come on,
Obviously-
come for us, I'll give you 20 rand.
Yes.
Come, they do
But,
that.
but I have another question for Nascam, right?
Yeah.
For an institution or a society that has been there for 31 years and seeing as to how, let's say, for example, there's so much still that needs to be accomplished and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the holdup for most of these years where it should be like at a point where, okay, no, these systems, they're already developed. This is already in
Yeah.
place. Why is it still looking like we are 7 to 10 years in?
This is a very interesting question, because I couldn't believe myself when I stepped into Nascam. Number one, there were no policies. I'll give you an interesting scenario. Nascam has been in existence since 94. There have been boards since 94, and boards have 3-year terms. 3-year terms meaning after every 3 years, a new board comes in. When I came in, the first thing I noticed that they were not non-compliant with BIPA, meaning all those boards that has been there since 94 to 2003, they were never registered. People call themselves board members since.
Crazy.
You mean
No, I'm just-
2023?
Pardon?
You mean 2023?
2023, since I came on board. Since I came on board, the boards they've never changed from one board to another like that.
Why?
I'm just giving you a scenario. He asked me a question. It's not compliance, it's just an issue of management. Management was a serious problem at Nascam for all those years. If they could not see it fit to go and change every time there's a new board, to give consent to the new board, it means it's just somebody who didn't understand the management. So it's not for me to say why did they not do it. I'm just saying I could find no policies. Just a simple policy, or how do we collect money? There's no policy.
Yeah.
A simple policy like how do we recruit people? There's no policy. Those were the things that I needed first to establish. For the past 2 years, I've just been, remember, I've been the CEO since 2023, and I've been also dabbling as a finance manager because there was no finance manager. There was an external service provider who was doing
How
that.
many employees are there?
There are 12 employees.
Only.
12 employees. When I came, the highest paid employee was a person without qualification. Without qualification. It just shows you also one of the problem is a systemic problem, which was capacity in the employees running the organization. It's not an issue of just management. Management was one part, then there was of capacity. The people who are doing the actual work is not trained, it's not qualified. So you can imagine yourself running all those years with the same thing. It's just people just accepted that it's normal.
Yeah.
But when I came on board and I realized this is where we are, we cannot continue to transform Nascam the way it is. Just this year, I think we have dismissed 2 employees. One was dismissed because he didn't perform. He was a misfit. The head of the Department of Licensing. He was very misfit. He couldn't write a report. He couldn't understand. I asked him accountability.
And how long has he been working there?
More than 28 years.
Whoa.
So
No.
I just tell you, it's systemic because even last month, we had to dismiss one person who has been there for 10 years, who has been stealing money for all those 10 years. And I only find out now since I'm here.
You had to go through the books.
No, I didn't have to go through the books. Unfortunately, the system itself reported him because people in the industry started to talk to me and say, this is what's happening. So I can just imagine what was lost for the past 10 years. I can only account for this year, which I've seen. But for the 10 years, it could have been millions probably. So it's a systemic issue. It's non-performance, unaccountability. People don't understand accountability. And my push was to change the culture from entitlement. Imagine yourself, these people, before I came on board, they apparently used to go to a board meeting, make their own case to the board. A board allows staff to go in the board meeting to discuss personal issues or staff issues. I've never seen that anywhere. But those are systemic, but it's over now.
Okay.
Okay, so the other day I attended a meeting at Nascam, and there was discussions, like around associate members and full members in terms of the those that are like, registered with Nascam, which sounded like a very, very good program, implementing a policy like that will just try to bring about some type of formalization, and within that regard, there was a mention of like, social benefits that, artists can receive. So I just want to find out from Mr. Nicanor, what are some of these social benefits that artists can look forward to in terms of them now, like signing up now as associate members, for example, or as full members. So what social benefits? I mean, as artists, you find that like, a lot of artists go through so much, they work all their life, putting out all this work. And then at the end of the day, a lot of people have, especially passed away without
economic hardship.
It can get very tough. So what are some of the social benefits that artists can look forward to?
Yeah, no, I thank you for that question. I think I remember, what is the lady, is it Joanna, who was a young lady who was apparently suffering recently on social media? Linda.
Oh, Linda. I believe.
You see, believe. Those are the type of things that draw our attention to the social benefits for members, since there is no formal setup in government, to help creators who are suffering. And Nascam only look at musicians, okay? So the issue now with the current board, the previous board term that ended, they looked at how to help creators in terms of death. They also look at what other social issues can we help with the members. I think they also investigated, you call it retirement, retirement, and also medical aid and bursary funds. Those are the 4 issues which we have investigated. We have now already implemented one, which is the funeral benefit, meaning in the case of the demise of a member, a funeral benefit will be paid for the member, and not just the member, also the children, the wife, or the spouse, whatever. But it's also tiered to a certain amount. It's not the same amount, but the highest amount we pay for the member is 15,000. So it doesn't have to be specific member. For every member who dies, it's 15,000, and then the remaining spouse or children will again certain a relative small amount to compare to the member. So those are the benefits we have already started. The others we are investigating is the retirement, the pension fund actually, and also the medical aid and the study bursaries or bursary fund. So the idea is to have a fund that can grow into making sure that we cover another benefit, Maybe the next will be medical aid, and then the next will be the pension fund, and then the bursaries. So we cannot cover all benefits at the moment because of cost. But we are starting to look at the fund. You remember, with this money comes from the royalties we collect, we take 10%. The higher royalties we collect, we put that money into the fund, and it covers for that specific benefit. So every year, with each distribution, we take 10% from the total net distributable royalties.
Okay.
Yeah.
With regards to that as well, those are great benefits, that artists can really look forward to. In terms of, if, let's say, for example, there was some type of conflicts, that maybe like arise, in terms of now copyrights and rights to music and stuff like that, so obviously, like if I go to Nascam and I register my works, let's say, for example, maybe I leave out somebody on the split sheet, right? And then at the end of the day, maybe the song blows up, it becomes really big, and then now there's like conflicts between who really owns the song. Is it the producer? They end up like, legally really like at loggerheads, So is there a way that Nascam possibly comes into this picture, or is it just a legal aspect that has to be dealt with through the police and themselves getting their own lawyers and, when they go to court and all these things and whatnot? Or does Nascam somehow have a place within such issues or such conflicts should they arise?
Okay, that's a good question. I think when a creator comes to us, we assume he has met the requirements, meaning he's the rightful owner. He brings the copy and he's the rightful owner and the split sheets. And we work based on that. Now, unfortunately, things has been done in a way that they did not require agreements in the past when they do the split sheets. I mean, it's very important that there must be some sort of agreement. Everybody must sign. If you say this is the split sheet, then it means before we actually confirm it on our system, this is the actual split sheet. You say 30% is the author, 30% is the composer, 30% is the producer or whatever. You must actually all sign for that. So in the past, that was not done. People will just say, this is the author, this is the composer, and one person only signs. That validates that it's only one person. So we don't want to continue on that. We want to make sure that things are now done differently. When you bring a split sheet, these are the things for the 3 shareholders or 4 shareholders of the song, we need all their signatures. So that will resolve. So at the moment now, the only thing that you can really do is to have arbitration. We can try to do arbitration between the parties, Nascam members, if they are both Nascam members. We can try to arbitrate between them, and then we can just resolve the issue there. But, I mean, you can still have legal recourse, go to the courts. They can have final determination there. Yeah.
All right.
If there is literally a lot of money involved.
Okay, now like in that aspect, in terms of now, obviously capacity was now like at Nascam.
Yeah.
When people are doing their split sheets, like if I come to Nascam and then I fill in my works, and I determine that like, okay, fine, this is the composer, this is the arranger, this is the author, and whatnot. Like you're saying, you do probably try to make sure that like each person that is responsible for whatever it is on that particular work comes in and signs, right?
Yes.
Are you guys the ones that contact them, or
no? What we are saying now, you bring in these works, and you are trying to tell us, I'm not the only person who owns part of the song. There are also 2 other people that say, okay, bring them in also. Yes, we will just not simply notify the work on the system because it's something pending. We want to make sure now things are not pending, and there are no loopholes for those type of arguments in future, because everybody has now signed. Yes.
I think there's been a question around a lot of artists. They want to know exactly how much royalties are calculated or how they are calculated from each individual radio station. Because I understand that some pay differently. Not all of them pay the same exact amount for songs played. That's what I understand. So how does that work?
All right. At the end of the day, when you see an amount the system calculates a pay value song value, meaning that we need two variables. First variable is the amount of money that is available for distribution. That's the first variable. And then we need the data from the broadcasters to tell us how much and whose song was played where and how. Now, NBC has, if I may speak out of the top of my head, just maybe 8 or 9 radio stations. Yeah. And then all those stations, they produce their own usage data. Yep. So the system is a common information system. It has data, firstly, and the data is the name of all the people, Nascam members and everybody. I've told you about 700 million users of yes. All those people are in the system. So what we do for our members is we get the usage data from broadcasters, and they tell us exactly which number of songs has been played and how many times. The titles, and that's what we feed the system. We feed that to the system. Now, give you a practical example. NBC last year played 44,000 works, meaning music, on their date, based on what they have provided, 44,000. Now that's the works we need to calculate royalties for. Now we have 44,000, which we must divide in the number of rights holders. Okay? Remember, rights holders is everybody. It can be the 700 million people, okay? When I told you earlier on, we plus minus on an annual basis of only 2,000 people whose work is getting paid for.
Yes.
So we take that, and then we take the amount which we must distribute. Okay? We take the amount, if it says it's 3 million or 2 million or 5 million, we take it, and the system will calculate a pay value. It will go on the number of the number of stations. Firstly, I think it calculates a ratio based on the total of the volume of works being played. For instance, one station played 5%, another station played 10%, just like that. It calculates a ratio. And then based on that, it calculates a pay value, how much it will pay for each song based on the money. It's quite a complicated thing. I cannot explain it here because you need to see how it's being done in reality. It is a very simple process, but it's just because it's a large volume of works and a lot of money, you will not be able to fathom it now. But if I explain it on a graph, you'll be able to understand. So that is how it's being done. Before we had the rules, distribution rules. Now we have distribution rules in place since I came on board, meaning these things were just being done without the rules, how it's being applied. Now the rules which we have put in place is to say, firstly, we need the length of a song, the length. Remember, NBC play tunes, and they can play a 30-second tune. It's somebody's song, but we cannot consider that in our role as a song. We factor now every song. We put a factor to say a song longer than 3 minutes a song which is 3 minutes and more will be 100%, will be paid 100% per value. Now then you have those smaller, shorter songs which is 30 seconds and less than a minute or whatever. They will get a factor, maybe a fifth, a seventh of whatever of the whole value. Do you understand? So you have your song, Rizzy, which is playing 10 minutes. It will, if the pay value is $10, you'll get $10.
Okay.
And if you, Jolene, have a small tune which is just playing 30 seconds, we'll factor it and we'll say you will get paid $3 for that out of the $10.
That means
that is the
Jolene's hit gospel song.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is now the rules which we have brought in. It's much easier for every creator to understand why am I being paid less and more for each song. In the past, we just used to pay $10 for every song. Whether it is 10 seconds, we will just pay. And we used to pay unfairly. But now the rules is to try to balance those things.
It's fair.
Yeah, that means
it just makes sense.
You know that CAPASSO chant song that's 15 minutes.
Yes.
That means
he's looking forward to and that was more or less like the same thing that we've mentioned about you intentionally doing certain things because you understand the rules. You know where to target, where you can possibly make a bit more money than usual. You know, stuff like that. But I kind of had a question for.
No, I just want to cut off on to finish that one so that I can really draw our members' attention to why we came up with that rule.
Okay.
There was a person who used to have a lot of tunes on NBC playing, whether it is by chance or is it by manipulation. This person used to be the highest earner of royalties in Namibia.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you get a name?
Yeah.
These tunes were like 10 seconds. You know, the tunes on NBC News.
Yeah.
That tune can play how many times a day?
Oh,
I think I know
like,
artists.
okay, let's say for example, on Oshiwambo,
Yes.
there's a
Just an opening tune
like
for
an
something.
opening thing.
Yeah.
Josie Joes was on.
Yes.
For example.
Yeah.
So every single time
Really a song.
this is
It's
played,
not a song.
because it's an opener, for example, you know. So when that show starts, this opener has to play
Yeah.
every single day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that whatever that particular show is, and I know that it was a show that used to play, and literally it, you know, I remember once upon a time, way back, we did a theme song for Afro Connection. Okay, the label that I was on, RVINC. We basically were the ones that did the theme song for Afro Connection. So every single Friday when Afro Connection is playing, they have to play that song.
And it played in between.
opening-
And it played in betweens maybe 10, 15
You
times.
get what I mean?
So meaning that person used to get like 100,000 plays on those tunes. Yes. And then we realized, no, but this is not right.
Yo.
We need to fix this.
So who's the person?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would love
So anyway, that is basically a management issue. Understand? Everybody will have said, it's okay, it's normal. But you must understand, you cannot have 50% of revenue collected and going to almost just 3, 4, 5%
Yeah.
of people. Yeah.
Wow,
Makes sense.
that's amazing.
Your next question?
I had a question. Like, in terms of when people fill out the radio stations and whatnot, you know, when they fill out their usage, you know, what song was played, the artist, the name, the titles of the songs. Somehow, some way through little birdies, I've heard, like, you know, where people, for example, maybe at NBC would say, we don't even really take those things serious anymore. You know, we're playing the songs, and then like at the end of your show, you just probably like just fill in, you know,
Number.
yeah, just
Some
a
fact.
random thing. You get what I mean? Or they don't even do it, right?
Yes.
They don't even fill in the form of what songs they've played. You know, I don't know whether it's laziness or
Why?
non-compliance, like, as we've said, you know, or people that are just not. They probably just really don't think that it's that serious. You know, there's no implication.
Yeah.
There's nothing that is going to happen to you to say, okay, fine, you have not filled in your sheets for the plays that you've done. You're not even going to get in trouble. Like maybe, okay, fine, you're supposed to maybe go for a disciplinary hearing because you haven't been filling in your forms or anything. So they're let scot-free, you know, and whatnot. And I also kind of like wanted to know, like, more or less, how many radio stations do we kind of have that are actually contributing royalties to Nascam for distribution and whatnot? And for those that are not paying out royalties to Nascam, why is that? And how is it that, like, should they be held liable, or should they just be allowed to just, you know, go scot-free?
See, Rizzy, your question is relevant in the sense that we rely on broadcasters for data. In terms of our agreement with them, it's to say, give us quality data. Now, if somebody just comes and randomly give a number, that's not quality data. But we don't have any way to validate that. Then that is why we consider the expensive route of radio monitoring system, which is very, very costly, 600,000. But we have no option. If we want to really be fair to the creators, we need to spend that money. Government must allow us to spend that money and say, this is the only fair system that will help us monitor exactly what is being done on the airplays. And that will allow fair distribution at the end of the day.
Yes.
When When Rizzy come and complain to Master Nicanor, my song has been live on this, and then I'm only getting this, and I can explain with a system, I can validate and say, look, on a monthly basis, this is what was happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, to answer your question, what was the question? Before I answer this, you had a question?
It's on which radio stations
Yes, which are compliant.
which ones are non-compliant.
Our data has plus minus 30 stations that are registered with CRAN. Most of them are community radio stations. Now, community radio stations are the type of radio stations that is not really worth chasing money because they don't make money.
Okay.
We only try to reach an agreement with them to say, at least pay us a fixed amount because they don't really get commercial adverts and all those things. Because at the end of the day, we don't say, you don't play music, but we are saying, at least pay something for some sort of, token of saying, I'm just trying, you understand? Okay. And then they pay because they are using music. But for the commercial, we have plus minus 17 or let me say 12 that are registered, and only 6 of them are compliant. Out of the 12, 6 are compliant. And why are they not compliant? This is the reason why I had to fire one of the heads of the department. Number one, he has been there for 27 years. And I asked, why are they not compliant? And they keep telling me, no, the CEO, it's always the thing of blaming the next one, the person who's not there. And I didn't buy that. And I just say, no, look, compliance is not an issue. You are the one directly dealing with these broadcasters. You must be responsible. So it's not an issue of he just didn't understand the importance of losing money for not complying, for not chasing them.
Yeah.
He knew this information, but he ignorant. So on that basis, we had to let him go. And because I just wanted people who can understand their job is to make sure, go to the broadcaster, you tell them. Now, right now, as we speak, Rizzy, as we have been having discussions since last year, November, with these broadcasters, those who have been compliant, they are already in agreement. But those who are not in compliance, they say, oh, we never knew that we needed to pay. They say, okay.
What?
Yes. No. Some said that. Some say that, but we forgive them and we say it's fine. But what we are doing, we are signing up new agreements. Remember this dispensation, the management never really had contracts in place. Some never really even offered them a contract to say, this is your contract, this is how much you're going to pay. So now we are busy negotiating new contracts with those commercial radio stations to make sure that they first understand it's not just an issue of, just the same way with the members. They need to understand, why are they paying? It's not just an issue of they must pay. Yeah. They must understand the value of what we are offering to them as an institution, to say it's a one-stop shop. Instead of you going chasing all these creators all over the world to get the license to play their music, we are offering you that at this fee. Understand that. And they understand and they say, okay, we are compliant. We're going to try to comply. Just give us. Now we are busy negotiating. Most of them, they are saying it's too high because it's a new thing to them. Okay. And we are always emphasizing the value of creators' work. You have a cell phone and iPhone. How much is the iPhone? Is this much? Okay? The same way we are saying to them, works in a creator's work has value. Don't just look at the song playing on airplay. Remember, there was graphics involved. There was a designer. There was somebody who created the actual work. The studio time, all those time, the nights, sleepless nights, all those things. That's the value we try to bring to the users to understand. Yeah. Most of the users, unfortunately, don't understand the value. They just think it's just a song. It can be just $10. No. It's the value, the creation that goes into that. We want to make that case study to most of the users. It's difficult because it's a new concept. Because they just understand, it's just copyright. But that understanding, it comes with explanation over time. Yeah. Through these platforms, through media coverage, through everything which we try to do with the user to make them understand. A copyright is an asset, just like any other asset. We must treat it as such, and that understanding must come through time. And you must understand, even NBC, when I came on board, I had a meeting with the executives. They didn't understand why they pay royalties. they didn't know that there was an act. Maybe they know there's an act, but they never really went to the act and understand the act. I was asked to provide that copy, and I was asked to ask a copy of the agreement they have with Nascam, which since '94. Do you understand the things? Is systems change? People lose focus. Where was it actually? We are just paying. They just used to pay, but they didn't even understand the purpose of paying. So it was just Nascam must just pay. I mean, they must just pay to Nascam. But yes. Before
you were the CEO, were you working there?
No.
You just started off as the CEO?
Yeah.
So these things that you know, is it from being the CEO?
Pardon?
Is it from when you started being the CEO that
yes.
all these things that you know? Or is it before? Did you know some things before?
No, just when I started, yeah.
Okay. So in 2 years, you know all the things.
That's why he said he went there and then he locked in.
Yes. I unfortunately, I have a mind that likes to understand systems, how things work. Maybe that helped me a lot because in every area of my life where I go, I need to learn how things work. And that's once I understand how it works, I could understand what was the problem of why were the people not paying. They just didn't understand why they needed to pay. Some lost track of, there was no agreement. Some, even the staff themselves, didn't know where was the agreement and why are they getting this much money. I had to go to the contract and I had to digest or dissect the agreement and say, okay, are they complying with A, B, and C because I have also a contract background. I'm not a lawyer, but I have a contract background because I dealt with a lot of arbitration and all that in my past jobs. So I understand the issue of agreement. And that's the only basis why Nascam existed with those broadcasters. There is a relationship, and that was an agreement. And now some of these agreements were non-compliant. They didn't perform. They will not produce the usage data. They will not pay on time. And this is the issue of the systemic I was talking about. When they don't pay on time, they create expectations from the other party. I don't need to pay Nascam on this time. You understand? Then it becomes 2 years. Then it becomes 3 years. And then they lost track. I don't actually need to pay because Nascam never followed up.
Yes.
So those were systemic issues, and that's what we are dealing with currently. Yeah.
It's quite sad. It's quite sad, like, you know, when you look at it like from a standpoint of, I remember back in the days, right? There was times that sometimes Namibians would call maybe golden eras, you know, where local Namibian music was really popping. And I mean popping, you know, where you had radio stations, let's say, for example, like on Radio Energy, if I was to give like an example of, there was a day I'm at home and there was no social media. There wasn't, you know, all this Facebook and, you know, you getting information from whatever. So there were times where radio was like your source, you know.
Yeah.
You sit there by the radio or by the TV and you watch. And if the stuff is not coming from the radio, if it's not coming from the TV, you don't you won't really know what is what. You get what I mean, you know? So I was at home and then this song, Balance by Sunny Boy, right? Came on the radio. The song played like once, right? The guy brought the song to the radio station and then they premiered it. The moment this song played,
Balance.
like I swear I'm just at home, but it's almost as if you can hear at the neighbors, like there's a commotion as well at the neighbors. You get what I mean? Like, you know,
it somehow
felt like this thing was like a mammoth, like viral volcanic eruption that literally happened in real time.
Yeah.
And this is on radio. You get what I mean? You know, and it used to happen, you know, you had music that, you know, shows like with Tashia them and Sekman, like, you know, Hilifa is from a background of hip hop, you know, and a lot of us, when we were like much younger, before we got into that whole hip hop thing and whatnot, you know, we would listen to Tashia them and Sekman them, and we would listen to this show avidly. You get what I mean? Like, you know, this was our plug. Yeah, we would wait for the show. This was like literally our plug, you know? And it made us feel human. It made us feel like we're alive. You get what I mean? And this is radio.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So imagine if radio was that powerful, right? It moves people and people like, the following, that balance thing, it's like the following day, everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, that song literally played probably 4 times in that particular night that it was premiered, because it played, and then, callers just started, like the calls just started coming in like, play, wildfire. Yeah. And, no, please play that song again. They played the song again, and, it went completely viral. And when I'm talking about viral, there was no TikTok. There was no, you get what I mean? Like,
it was organic
it's
viral.
Organic viral, These are numbers that you are not getting from YouTube. You're not getting these numbers from wherever.
Yeah.
You check, and in terms of like, even royalty payouts and whatnot, you think
it should have reflected there.
It should reflect, you get what I mean? Yeah. And to a point where that's where one can really tell what's the importance of music on a radio station or on a TV station. For as much as this the people that are in broadcasting sometimes probably don't take music as something that is like that important. You get what I mean? For them to be now that considerate and say, okay, now we should really pay our royalties to Nascam to be distributed to the artist, because they're not seeing the value, right? Yeah. They're not seeing the value to say, okay, no, this music, that whether it's local music or international music, without the music, what is a radio station?
Yes.
Without the music, what is a TV station?
Yeah.
If they don't have this music that comes from the artist, right?
That's the value.
Does it? Yes. Will radio energy have been radio energy?
Yeah.
Exactly.
If Sunny
one have the same audience
was not, banging, because what is attracting that listenership?
Is that
for most people, one person was probably not even listening to radio energy, and then at school where they're talking about like, yesterday on radio energy, this song was like on and it was like happening and stuff like that. How many listeners would radio energy have received just from that those conversations?
Yeah. And even I can say, if it wasn't for guys like NSK and Cannibal, Hilifa 94 never would have been a thing, because around the time I came out, the hip hop shows used to really, when a new artist is on, they put him on and then they bring you in for an interview, this and that. So there was a culture around radio where even the artists wanted to make sure that their music was at Nascam, because they know that the radios are also supporting.
Yes.
But that culture has sort of died down, and I don't know what was the catalyst for it, but it's happening, and I don't think, unless there's an intervention from the government or bodies such as Nascam, then the radios will just keep running away from the culture.
Yeah.
No, I think from our side, we've learned what was the real issue, non-transparency. And that's why we want to bring transparency to the fore in whatever we do in terms of royalty distribution, because that's the core of our business and licensing. If people wants to say Nascam is not doing his job, is if we don't really collect the royalties and if we don't really distribute. But we are putting this to the fore and say we want to make sure everybody comply, because that's one of our functions, to make sure that broadcasters, whoever is using music, is complying. And also, on the other hand, is to distribute that fairly. And we are putting things into place in terms of transparency. We're reporting back, we are showing how much did we pay. And for the past 2 years, since I came on board, we have increased, the royalties from
it's quite nice.
Every year.
Like
every year. Yes.
Imagine. That you can actually get on request. You get what I mean?
Yes. Statements, you can get your statements as a rights holder, and you can show you exactly. But with a new dispensation, we want to do things based on some sort of policy. In the past, as I said, everything was just done. Management said, but there was nothing backing it up to say what is the reason behind that.
Exactly.
So from now on, moving forward, every decision, everything we are doing, it is backed up by some sort of scientific method.
So just going back a little bit in terms of now like radio, as I was speaking about how, music used to be so popular, like local music used to be so popular on radio. There have also been instances of cases of like what one can call payola, where back in the days, sometimes you had, music that is genuinely being played, right? But then you had certain people that maybe had the money, they would probably go to the presenters or the what we call the radio DJs, pay them like a little something under the table, just for them to get possibly more plays. Or maybe for instance, when they're filling in their logs, they possibly they're just putting their friends there, so that, because that's the person that like gives them a little something, you know. That's so with some of these things, is there a way going forward to see to it that like we don't have these cases of payola, and or what are some of the things that can be done to see to it that we don't encounter such things?
Guys, I'm done pretending. Before you answer that, what is payola?
Okay.
Payola is a system that was originally started in America, where big record labels, they will pay DJs on radios to say push plays for this specific music on. So a DJ who's sitting playing music, so that music can then have more airplay.
Like what UMG did with Not Like Us.
Okay. Payola.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Payola is an international wide, known system used by DJs to do that, to push for their own friends of whatever, specific category of music to be played on the air.
Yeah.
But as I say, we don't have control over the playlist. That's a CRAN issue. CRAN issue is the issue. They determine how much must be played, and they must, as a broadcaster, they must account to CRAN. Okay. You see, if CRAN wanted, and they know there was payola going on, they should have suspended licenses for broadcasters so that they can investigate and make sure that those DJs are educated enough to understand the consequences of payola.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's only CRAN who can either revoke the licenses for any broadcaster. And if you, as rights holders, and if you know, I understand people knew this, even in local Namibia. So if they knew that there is a code of conduct, you would have stood up before the renewal of this license by CRAN. You would have stood up there in CRAN. It's an objection, whether it's in writing and you say, no, I'm objecting. What are you objecting? No, I'm objecting because there's payola going on in this station. What is payola? No, you explain it. And you say there are specific DJs, they are paid to play specific music. CRAN's job is then to assess your objection and say, are we going to give this guy, based on our investigation, are we going to give this broadcaster the license back to go do the same thing, or are we going to discipline them, or are we going to fine them? Whatever they have to decide. So for us, it's just really we rely on reliable data. We, as much as we want, we are representing the rights holders, and we can do objections as well with CRAN. Only now we have realized that actually it is because of the assignment between the rights holders, that they have assigned the rights to Nascam, and Nascam can do the objection. The same way we can also do the objection to the rights to the license on-site license liquor holders issued by the regional liquor license boards. We can actually object to that if our rights members' work is being consumed and they are not paying license. So our next step, instead of just going to object, we are actually pushing it to be the same law as for the broadcasters, meaning that Nascam license must be also a requirement for all those on-consumption users or our liquor license users, meaning that if it's a restaurant, before they get their liquor license, they must also get a license from us, and it must be a requirement.
I was quite surprised. Every now and then, like I watch this 94.1, Cosmos 94.1, with the police officers going around in the bars and stuff. And it was quite interesting that, like, these guys will actually ask,
DJ.
when there's a DJ playing music at the bar, they would ask if they have a Nascam license.
It's actually it was actually one of the initiatives from one of our licensing officers who were to train the police in terms of the copyright and say what do they need to ask when they approach these events and so on.
While we're on the topic of copyright, I wanted to know, like, particularly when it comes to streaming, like live streaming, if you look at most live streams, if your music, especially international music, it always gets flagged if you're playing it on a live stream. However, that's why they always say no, rather play local, because it won't get flagged on Facebook or YouTube and whatnot. Is there like a copyright protecting international artists and that's not protecting Namibian artists when it comes to copyright in live streaming?
It's the same question, same answer I'm going to give. Is to do with the law, the copyrights bill. The law in Namibia does not recognize infringements online. You are playing music. You are not supposed to play music to an audience online unless you have a license. That's what it means.
Okay.
You know, I can just give you an example what happened between 1994 and now with NBC. NBC or other broadcasters, their only license was to stream on their frequency. Their frequency meaning if 92.6 is their frequency, that's the only thing they can do. Broadcast. They are protected, copyright they have paid for. But now, since the advent of online, now they have moved online. They have now subscribers online. Meaning NBC, if you tune in now online, you can hear NBC radio playing. But the agreement does not allow for that between Nascam. It does not allow for them to stream, which is diffusion services again. Now, you understand from the time the act was made up to now, our hands are tied. You cannot even say, you are doing online now. You have new audiences online. Now you must pay because it's a different type of audience. It's no more on your frequency. Remember, your frequency is only in your country. And regionally or internationally, depending on where you are. Now, if you have a TV and it streams, and you can now have a channel on your TV, and everybody internationally can hear. And it means this, the audience has changed. Kran was not okay. Kran gave you a license for the frequency on the radio, and this one is a new thing because it's now open to the world. And it's for us a new revenue stream. We must also start to license, but we cannot because
we cannot. And
that's
I
quite
think,
interesting.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about it, right? Let's say NBC is on DSTV.
Yeah.
Right? DSTV is playing all across Africa. Right? So in a sense, it's like trying to say that, like, you know, all those if somebody from
it's online now. It's basically online. It's a different type of. It's a different type
hearing
of
your song on radio, on national radio via DSTV.
Yes,
it is most plays, right?
Yeah.
But I doubt they're being paid for.
Yeah,
100%.
No, they are not.
So
it also brings me to this realization.
So the thing with the flagging is just because of our law and our international treaties. You understand? Because the platforms. The technology which is there, it can flag because they see somebody's playing music which is not licensed. You understand?
Yeah.
But if it was on the others, if the logic was reversed, you would say, okay, Namibia is licensed, and these users who are playing music, they are also licensed.
Yeah.
They will allow international music to be played.
100%. It brings me to a realization of one thing. When it comes to the infrastructure that has been set up, I wouldn't necessarily say it's, let's say, only the laws that needs to be adjusted. Is that the industry is very small, because if you look at the artists who would say, let's say an artist was to be signed by Universal Music Group, they'll do your licensing and publishing, right?
Yes.
So they can give you a copyright that on YouTube, this and that, Facebook, it's not, you cannot be played on there.
Yeah.
However, like in Namibia, we do not have any structures. We do not have any artists signed to any majors.
Yeah.
Like the only artist who came close was the rumors around Gaza being signed to Sony. But
They had distribution deals.
Yeah.
Distribution deals have been there. Yeah.
But now that's where I think, in terms of Namibians, the exposure already is not a lot. We do not have a lot of majors looking into Namibia to be like, oh, let's work with these people, let's do this.
There is a reason for that. Maybe it's twofold. Number one, our law is outdated. Number two, Nascam is the only body which represent music. Now, when I talked about Nascam earlier, not incorporating rights holders like producers and record labels and performers, that's the reason why they cannot come here, because how will they make money? Because they are recording, they own the masters, they own these recordings. Now they are not protected in that sense. Now Nascam needs to broaden its constitution to allow those universal Sony to be protected, to say, okay, you can be registered now, you are protected under Nascam. That's the simple logic why they are not here. But you will see, with that now being changed, it's possible that they will come, they will scout, they may match with other local record labels, and they may take over those and whatever. So those are the dynamics that can unfold when these things have changed, yes.
Okay. So I had a question, like when it comes to Namibian music, when it's played in movies and whatnot, let's say on NBC, does Nascam also collect royalties on that?
Yes, we are only limited to audio visual videos for the music. For the music, at the moment, only 2 channels in Namibia. All right, that play music, which is One Africa and NBC. That we do collect from TV for the videos. Yeah, in Namibia.
So music videos.
Music videos, we do collect. That is the setup we have, because you remember I earlier said we charge those broadcasters based on the percentage of their revenue. Yes. So for the audio, we charge a certain percentage audio, and the video we charge a certain percentage. Yeah.
Music
no, not a
example.
Yes, music audio on TV, on radio.
So this you actually get the royalties from the broadcaster.
Yes.
Okay. TV. What about in instances like, let's say, for example, you remember the Katutura movie that was released, like local directors and producers doing movies. Do you also have to sign an agreement with them for them to use Namibian music in their movies?
At the moment, I think I'm not saying I'm thinking. It's clear we don't collect royalties from music videos being played in movies, like
music videos, but songs.
Yes, we don't in audio visual, because remember, Nascam has limited capacity. I need a day to explain it in terms of international treaties, which right we can represent. That alone, audio visual, is another right.
Do you guys want to broaden?
Yes, we want to broaden. And I don't know why it took so 30 years for us not to be here.
For us to realize that we need to broaden.
You understand?
That's why have you been, just a quick question, have you been pushing?
I am.
For that?
Pushing for audio visual. The reason that we are opening up just for the producers and the performers. Remember, you can be a performer singing, maybe Rizzy hired you just to perform on your song. In terms of our constitutional mandate, you are just a person singing. You don't get paid royalties for that. You are just a performer. And now we are saying we want to allow performers to get royalties.
Okay.
That's broadening up for them. And we're also broadening up for the owners of the copyrights.
All right.
You know, of not the copyright, the recordings. Yes.
Okay.
And now we want to move into audio visual. Audio visual is a completely different right.
Yeah.
You understand? So you see the fact
eventually gaming and all this stuff.
Eventually we are moving to be a one-stop shop society. And even there is recently one which is open up for books. It will have been actually our desire to have one society dealing with everything. Because at the end of the day, we are a small country. You have scattered societies collecting for different rights. You know, the logistical nightmare, for instance. If you have 10 different societies, you have to go to the same users to collect differently, and they will be frustrated. This one say, I'm collecting for these people, I'm collecting for these people, I'm collecting for these people, the performers, the audio visual, you understand? So it would have been easy as Nascam, they just sign and they no, all these type of rights have been covered by one society and one stop shop, and that's it. The challenge now in the industry with bigger countries is this, that they have to try to collect 4 or 5 times from the same user for different rights, which is a challenge. And we are seeing that. Do we want to go the same route and say, let's have our own different societies for each one?
Yeah.
And people who are not in that industry now, they don't understand the challenges which is happening from those countries with so many societies. Because a broadcaster now has to pay 10 societies for different rights. They didn't want that.
Yeah.
So we are trying.
Nightmare.
It's a logistical nightmare, and we are seeing this. And I'm seeing this personally. I say it is easier. Let's rather try to focus to build Nascam's capacity to have one-stop shop, and all the rights are covered. Whether we have different branches, divisions, it's just easier. But let the users deal with one society.
One society. Yeah, I had another question. Does Nascam also collect royalties on like restreaming? Say, for example, you have a song that's playing on a specific platform, but then it kind of gives access to another platform to also play it. Like a good example is also, since we're talking about general, I know that Metro Namibia, the shop, plays its in-store radio from Future Media. So it collects music from Future Media in terms of like Fresh FM, Radio Wave, and 99. So basically, they are able to distribute through them. No, Energy is another whole different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm assuming since they have their own in-store radio, they pay the general license. However, these songs are also coming from the platforms where the radio, the server is through Future Media. So like in those cases, does Nascam also collect royalties on both sides?
The question is yes. If the Metro is one of our customers, is supposed to pay for background music, which is public performance, through that. They cannot, whether they get it from Spotify, whether they get it from Future Media, the fact is there is a public performance going on in that store. They must pay. So it's not a double, it's not a, what do you call it?
Restream.
It's not a restreaming. It's just we are charging based on the right. What is the right that is covered under them? Is public performance.
Yeah.
So the broadcaster has a different right, which is the broadcasting, public broadcasting. Is publicly broadcasting. We also had to make something clear to broadcasters, which was never really brought to their attention. When they have activations, usually they will go like to Metro, they will set up there in front of Metro, and then they have an activation for some sort of promotion going on. In terms of the agreement with what we have, we explain to the broadcaster that is not covered under your existing license, meaning an activation. Now you have changed the setting. It's just the same way. It's through the signal, CRAN signal. Now there is a loudspeaker in public. It's no more just on a radio in the house. You are covered for a radio in the house, in the car, and so forth. But you're not covered for a public out there in front of Metro. People are listening now. You are not covered. That is supposed to be another license for them. So we are explaining all these things because these are new concepts to them, because somebody never really explained it to them what means public performance and broadcasting and all that. So even the streaming, it was a different type of streaming, broadcasting, but they never paid for that. So it must be explained to them as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any last questions for him? Any other questions?
No, I just want to tell Mr. Nicanor that he's doing a great job, man.
No,
He's doing an amazing job. Like I've been around Nascam for a lot of years, and within this short span of time, I've come across so much that, I probably would have not thought that some of these things could have probably come to the day of light, So I just really want to give him his flowers and just, Like they're doing a great job, man.
So then if I were to ask, what can Nascam do better? Would you say you're waiting since he's on board?
What can Nascam do better? Man, I haven't received my royalties in the past. The past, like what, maybe more than 5 years right now.
Yeah.
Okay, that I can't really blame Nascam for that.
You can.
Nah, I know why I haven't probably received royalties for more than 5 years now. It's just got to do with I'm not really pushing my music, because as an artist, you also I've got music. Let's say, for example, on NBC and on some commercial radio stations and stuff.
Yeah.
But I personally also just need to be active. I need to go to radio stations for interviews. I need to see to it that like I have my music on the right radio stations on TV and whatnot, and actively go there. Like go to Good Morning Namibia or whatever, or go to One Africa for a couple of interviews here and there. You get what I mean? Like, there is also an aspect that is required from me as a musician as well.
Yeah.
But like with regards to Nascam, well, I'm okay. I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm a registered member, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Albert, what can fans, communities, or even the government do more to support Namibian music or creatives?
I think for creators, number one, to me, it's important that they understand. They need to register their works, always making sure that they notify us on time. My desire is that they also use producers or people who produce songs that understand the whole concept of ISWC recordings standards, It's not that producers don't understand. It's probably also lack of facilities for them to get these codes, because it is now incumbent on Nascam. I've realized that it's now my responsibility to bring the agency that can register the producers or the record labels in Namibia to be able to give them these codes, so that from now on moving forward, we have works that are properly identifiable wherever they go with proper identifiers like metadata, I think that is the push we also need to do. We want to do better for that, so that our music for creators can compete anywhere, even if now they are not doing good locally, but at least internationally, they can be liked, they can be. I think we need to understand that all this is requires technology. We have to really move away from manual, and I've realized that it has been hampering the moving of the industry itself, because we have relied too much on manual work. Registration is manually. There's no platforms. There's nothing. So that's what we want to do, and we want to do it with the assistance of our stakeholders like the government to help us, and BIPA to make sure that we have these platforms, this technology, to be able to help members. You must remember, Nascam is doing a job for government. Government will want to see us succeed eventually, because they have signed the Berne Convention. It's government who signed the conventions. Internationally, they say we will protect creators' work everywhere as long as it's in Namibia. Yeah. That's their convention they have signed there. The Berne Convention is the biggest convention. If you go and Google it up, you will understand why Nascam is doing what it's doing, because of that convention. Yeah. So government will want to see us succeed in doing what we're doing, so that it benefits the creators. Number two, it's also very important that we have a unique flair of music from Namibia.
Yeah.
You look at Korea, South Korea, K-pop, Amapiano, and, Nigerians have their own. Afrobeat. We need to make sure our own creators come up with their own flair of music, 100%. Because it's unique. That's the only thing that can penetrate the market to get their fair share of royalties eventually, because everybody understands that it's a unique flair of music, and it comes only from Namibia. So as much as I believe that the creators can create what they want, they cannot be told what to create. It must be brought to their attention that uniqueness is very, very important to ensure that you carry the heritage of Namibian music, to generations to come. And remember, their music can last with them. They can get royalties for up to 50 years before this music can finally, yes. You can inherit, your music can be inherited by your children, your royalties. So it is an inheritable asset as well.
Yeah.
So they must understand those concepts.
No, very well. I think a question that I do have is like, in terms of this system, this website that's going to be built, this database.
The portal.
Yeah, the portal. Will consumers then be able to like look up different artists and their music? Like particularly, we have some legends who have passed on. So basically, if their music is not with you, we can't find it anywhere else, or will we still be able to like find it at that centralized database?
The portal we are creating, number one, is to help to build the database, right? So whoever needs to upload music, there is to help create the database, which is the national repository, or the what do you call it? The digital rights management system. So it is important that we have that. But remember, we had CDs, we had USB cassettes. Those are there. If you ask, where is Jackson Kiowa's CD 1992? It's in a CD. Yeah. We have a storage where we have put all these things there. We must just find a way how to digitize them. They are there, some of the things. And some of the things were never notified to us, so we cannot do anything. But I think we are busy working with the National Heritage Council as well. It's part of their job to make sure that there is a museum for all this locally heritage-rich culture, of which we call Namibian music. So the effort is really just started now. And we have realized, it's going to be a waste, because they must build on this heritage. And the National Heritage Council is the sole responsibility to make sure there is a museum. They must curate this music, and we can give at least the rights for them to have a copy and to be played there as a rights holders assigned. We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the arrangement we have started to talk is to have something in that line. Yeah.
So then I don't know if it's a misconception. Rather, let me say the misconception that Nascam should or is supposed to promote artists. Is that?
Yeah. It's a misconception because of misunderstanding.
Okay.
Because, as I said, people expected that Nascam must pay them royalties every year, irrespective of whether the music has been consumed or not. Irrespective of that, can you imagine? And then the thing is just, the misunderstanding was just because the public performance right which they have, they believe that was the only right they have. But there are other rights, like mechanical rights. They can still exploit those rights differently. Economic rights, they can exploit them. Synchronization, they can exploit them without Nascam. But they believed Nascam holds all their rights, and they will be paid for all their rights from Nascam. But Nascam does not hold all their rights. Nascam only holds that one right, public performance, and we only exploit that through radios and public performance. The other rights are still with them. They must try to push those rights for them. Yes.
You see how people are saying, no, in the music industry, you won't go far in Namibia. Is that what you think as well?
That you will not go far. No, it's impossible. With the right mindset. With the right mindset. Yes, with the right mindset, I believe. It's because people wanted to do it on their own.
Yes.
And it's difficult.
Yes.
You cannot be a jack of all trades in this industry.
Yes.
You must be able to have people you can rely on. These are people who are doing specific, and so that anybody can have their fair share.
So you are saying people can go far.
This industry has potential to unlock a lot of resources, which is money that is not unlocked now. And just through unlocking those potentials in the different sectors, they will also benefit through the satellite accounting, meaning, it's like a tourism. You can benefit. The service station, the buses and the hotels and all that. It's the same with this industry. A lot of people will benefit, and it can unlock a lot of potentials.
What can artists do to make it easier for you guys to help them, or rather to make it the business that it's supposed to be?
Organize themselves in such a way that they understand that they are going into a business. It's not a charity. It's not where you go and beg. It's your asset.
Yes.
You must make it work, and then the benefits will follow you, and the fruits will follow you. It's not the other way around.
Yes.
Yes. So it is understandable that they have this perception because they see first the glitter and the gold, and they think that's where the money is, but they forgot that there is hard work eventually that needs to be. They need to put in the work. They need to put in the understanding how to run their business, how to run their brand. Imagine you are a brand, not to say to look down on them, but if you cannot look presentable to whoever wants to use your music as in a video that can even fetch 1 million, that person will just say, no, I cannot. It's just because you were not presentable.
Yeah.
So if you have a PA who can speak for you because you are not able to speak, then you can win that same deal. So you understand, there is a PA, there is a promoter. Those are the things. The business is big, it can unlock a lot of potential.
All right.
What type of music do you listen to?
You want to put me on the spot?
Interesting.
Easy listening. Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Yes.
Okay.
Don Williams.
Don Williams. Those are legends. I like listening to music that doesn't outlive, the artist, because you see, you can look at one of Phil Collins' songs. Do you remember that guy has how many views and millions on that song?
Just alone.
It has been played for so many years. He doesn't even have to do anything. He continued to get royalties on that.
Yeah.
It's also the essence of the music, you understand?
Yes.
He mentioned it very well and say you are putting music out for a specific audience or a market, not just for anything. No, if your target market is I'm at 2,000, must make sure that they get it. And how your distribution channels is the 4 P's are coming in there.
Yeah.
You understand? It's a marketing principle as well. You must understand who's your market, how to get to them easily. Yeah,
Do you listen to any Namibian music?
I do.
Who are your favorite artists?
You put me on the spot. These guys will. Let me say this one. I said it. Yeah, I said it.
Give us at least 5.
Nafi. Who's the other guy? Miss Gideon.
It's Gideon.
And what is the Illest also? There's the other guy, KP. Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously the dog and Gaza.
Those ones are sharing the spot.
No, they are sharing. To be honest, he mentioned something. There was a time when these guys were on the radio. I still have those CDs. Some of them are still sealed. I just bought them. I never really opened it because the radios were pumping these things so much. I just bought the CDs, but I just have those CDs still in those the packaging. Yes. So I do listen to local music as well. And the other day, a lot of guys always come with their CDs. Those are still pumping CDs. I still buy those CDs. Some of them, I don't have a CD player. What do I do? So I just have to keep the CDs as souvenirs.
Gideon, would you play Miss Gideon's song or whatever?
I must play.
Would you play? No. Would you play in your house when you listen?
Yeah, no, YouTube. I play on the TV. Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Do you see enough female representation in the music production?
Why are you asking me? Because I don't really have favorites of who is the best. In females, if they are pushing their own agenda with music,
Are they enough compared to?
yes, there are. I think there are.
Okay, they'd go there to register.
They go there to register. We have Jazz, we have Miss Gideon's, them. Everybody's there.
Yeah.
Selling boss my dad.
I don't know, but I have a list. I cannot know who's there now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes
So
sense.
the database is there really. Yeah.
If your life had a soundtrack, what song would play over the opening?
Phil Collins.
Yeah, it has to be.
Do you remember?
You remember? Yeah, it's a very nice
That's the song. I pump that song every time when I feel low, when I feel high. It has that same effect for me. It can bring me up. Sorry, I'm sweating so hot now.
Yeah, man.
So it can lift me up when I'm down, and when I'm in a good spirit, it also just helps me maintain that spirit, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm very easy person. I'm not a very
You
complex.
love music like that.
I love music every time.
Okay.
You may not think I love music, but music is. I've been since I grew up, I used to have this, what do you call this, cassette things here you put on your speakers, on your heads. Walkmans. Yeah. And I remember started to work, I started to buy CDs before I still even had a CD player in my early 90s.
Can you sing?
Huh?
Can you sing?
Oh, no, I cannot sing and dance, please. I can sing, I cannot dance.
Okay.
But I will pay a person 1 million who can teach me how to dance.
I was going to say, I can teach you, but...
No, I say I'll pay 1 million to somebody who can really teach me. I know how to do some moves. Huh?
Why would you want to dance?
I think it's a bucket list thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I die, I need to learn to dance like...
That's why Namibia also needs shows like So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
Where, even just...
Though it's a bucket list for me because I
Hold on, sorry. Do we have any serviettes?
Yeah, please.
Oh, we stopped buying because of winter.
Is the AC not working?
Usually that's...
Sweats a lot. Like he's...
Is it?
Yeah. Like I'm
water
always here.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I sweat a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's okay. Let me just wipe off the water.
Finish.
Okay. Yeah, no, I love dancing. I like watching.
You love dancing, but you can't dance.
Yes, I like watching people who dance. It inspires me. So I say, yes, how do people do that?
Same.
Yeah.
It's a shame, yeah. Oh, it's a
Shame as well for me.
Is
It's
it?
a shame for me.
You have 2 left feet.
I'm telling you.
What should we
That's why they say God cannot give you.
See her TikTok. She's always dancing though. Like,
imagine?
Yeah, but I'm trying,
God cannot give you everything, unfortunately.
Yes.
That's my belief in life. So He didn't give me dancing. He didn't give me singing. When I sing, it's like, what happened to this guy? Is he? Julia.
What did he give you?
Eh? Oh, smart brains, probably to plan, to organize, and a fast thinker.
Okay.
I think, in general, for me, it's easy when I get to make decisions and to solve problems. That's generally comes very easy to me. And I don't take it for granted because I see how many times people sometimes struggle just in general how to make decisions. They are very indecisive. And I take it as a blessing that I'm able to make decisions without hesitating. And I say, that's not my problem, God. Thank you.
Okay.
Way.
Oliver, do you have any questions for him? For them?
No, not at the moment. Most of the questions that I had, I think you asked them very well.
Okay.
I think what I'd say, okay, first let me just start with Mr. Albert.
But before that, is it a question?
No, it's not a question. It's just me wrapping up.
Okay, let's give it over to him. Do you have any questions?
To anybody specific or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody specific or the Village podcast or, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just put it out there to artists. You can do
Oh, yeah. I think I really want to find out from the artists in Namibia instead of, I always notice they complain a lot, but I don't see them wherever they need to be when it comes to decision making in terms of Nascam. I just want to know why is it easy always to complain from a distance? Why don't they come
Yes.
and instead ask Mr. Nicanor in person? I've never seen a lot of them.
I want to bring the whomever.
Yes, I really, I always wanted to know, why can't they just come and ask me these questions? The other day, I just spoke to Tate Buti. He was on the phone with another guy, and I said, Tate Buti was just started, when he hear this Nascam CEO, he just started to complain. I say, Tate Buti, do you know me? Can you come? I'll pay for you a coffee or whiskey or whatever. Let's come and talk, and then we can discuss this issue. And that's simple. Because most of the miscommunication...
There's access to you.
No, there is access. I'm a 24-hour guy. Unfortunately, my job is not office bound. So that's why I'm even here today on Sunday. So it's not really that I'm not accessible. It's just people have maybe difficulty to gauge me. Do I look
just don't
approachable or no? Maybe they don't have the courage. But I call now on them on this platform, wherever they are.
Guys.
Please, you get my number. Don't sit with my number and say, I will call him next week. Call me now. Call me today. If this was a calling show, I would have given my number. My number is 081 811 1187. Call me. If you have an issue relating to Nascam, I'll be able to address. I'll be able to address the issues. No, I can block as well if there's a nuisance.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So I will share my office number, obviously, because this is my personal, but in case this gets too much, I'll have to to divert them to the office number. Yeah. Right. But yeah, please, guys, if you have really issues you are dealing with, you have concerns of understanding whatever is going on, call me. I'm there as your champion to make your life easier to understand your copyrights, your issues with royalties and the licensing issues we are facing. The country is facing all kinds of challenges, People make decisions because their money compete, whether it's to pay a Nascam license or whether it's to buy for a Cambroto or whether it's to buy a car. It's competing needs. So you must understand everybody has challenges with their money. So if there's an issue, I'm also trying to solve those same issues you're having.
Any last thing you want to say to the?
Nah, I just want to say to the artists that you guys should pull your socks up, be determined and have the courage to just push, Namibian music,
Yeah.
Be more creative, be more innovative, just see what it is that you can do, as Namibian artists to, what was mentioned about us coming up with a typical local sound. Let's just put our heads together, man, especially producers, producers need to try to think out of the box, because now if you were to possibly maybe have we have Ovirishe, we have Mataisa, we have Shambo, we have all this, right? But there's always been that whole thing of do we have something that we can export, a sound that we can export, that we can say maybe cuts across the board, We should be proud of our cultures. We should be proud of what we can call our traditional music and whatnot. But yeah, just to think a little bit out of the box, come up with something commercial, something that is anybody can do. It doesn't matter whether you're Damara speaking, Herero, Tswana, whatever, you get what I mean? As long as you're Namibian, find something, we find something that we can push out there and bump these things. And producers have quite a lot of input that they can bring on the table in terms of that, because coming up with a sound, if you
it's not
easy, and this should probably be something that should be something that should be common. You get what I mean? If you have one or two producers that come up with a certain type of sound, for example, right? It might not make as much impact. Yeah. But then if you had 20 producers, all let's say, for example, trap or garage or whatever, you get what I mean, and you had 20 producers or 40 producers, all kind of vying for the same sound, just the same way that Amapiano, for example, came about, it might actually have an impact. So yeah, man, let's have our local artists, let's think out of the box, Ben, and let's
get it.
And I just want to thank you guys, the Village podcast behind the scenes as well. And yeah, when I first heard of the Village podcast, I was like, okay, are these guys doing a podcast from the village?
I mean, we are.
Yeah?
I mean, we are in a village.
We're in a
Sona village.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but it would be really nice, one day.
Then you must call it Osona village.
You guys are probably
Just Osona village.
somewhere in Nokakarara or somewhere there in Betani or you get what I mean,
Yeah,
just have a little bit of some out.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. How did you come about the
village
name,
stuff?
I mean, the name did come from the fact that, okay,
it's a
at
village.
face value, Osona village, this is where we operate from, this is our home.
This is where we all live.
Yeah, but also it's just a play onto the world is a village. So we're trying to send a message across in the way that we can from the lens of a Namibian while observing everything that's happening around us.
And you know how they say it takes a village to raise a child?
Yes.
So a village, togetherness, unity,
Ubuntu.
community.
Ubuntu.
Exactly.
That's what we represent.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. My final words, I think I'm gonna keep it as short as possible. Mr. Nicanor, thank you very much for coming through. I know that the task that was placed on your shoulder is something that's very huge. You're basically a spokesperson for the entire music industry. And it's nothing that comes easy, especially because you're stepping into shoes that, could have been walked in better. So you're walking into sort of fresh shoes where you have to now make the path on your own and then create the next, how the future looks for the next 20 years or so. So with all I can say is that all the best. I know, I trust in what you've told us today. I can see the vision. And also, I think it's about time we need people, with a corporate background in the music industry to help it reach the level where we need it to be. So it's good to have you as, a representative of the music industry. And I can't wait to see what Nascam can bring forth. As for Rizzy, since way back, I've always been a very big fan.
Yeah?
I think I even told you, when we were at College of the Arts, I used to bump Rizzy Riz, Crazy E back in the day. So it's one thing where to see you actually come into this rebranding and, find yourself, especially with the new music you've been making. I feel like it's more an authentic look. You're not trying to imitate. You're not trying to push a different sound that's out of your element. So with that, I think it brings us to the topic of, seeing how Namibians are going to find their own sound.
Okay.
The answer is within you. Is it your whole aesthetic, everything that you're pushing for? I think that's where we'll find it. Originality is what we're looking for. So, with that said, Jolene?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of this video podcast episode. Before anything, I just want to tell you guys something quickly. Phones really listen, hey. I just got from my YouTube for you. It said, listen to Payouts Pakavena.
Oh.
Yeah. Just right now when I checked, I'm like, what? I've probably listened to the song multiple times before, but it's telling me no suggestions, listen to the song.
Which one?
Pakavena, that Payouts song. Let me get to what I was saying. Guys, you really have heard all you needed to hear. If you have more, please log in, call. You've got the personal number of the CEO himself. He has delivered today. Thank you very much for serving all that information. We are really, I'm personally excited because I've been looking at I want to become an artist because I can sing. I can sing very well. At least that I have.
Okay.
At least that I have 100%. But yes, guys, please log in, ask your questions. Here is hope again. Your eyes are opened now. You can do these things, register, and you can grow in the music industry. And with that said, I'm done. Anyways, guys.
Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment.
Do all the good stuff, guys. See you guys in our next video. Bye.